Hey everybody, welcome to session 11 of our DayTrippers campaign, season 2. We're, I guess, the third episode into season 2. I'm going to kick it right over to Todd to give us a recap, and we'll jump into some action.
Oh boy, well, the boys were contacted via Bento by Silas Ardassian, their favorite client, who has decided that she wants to decorate her grand ballroom with Iranian orchids. I can actually show you a picture of what these suckers look like. Let's screen share this puppy. So there's an Iranian orchid. And they're like insanely beautiful and really expensive, and they're only found on this planet, which is why you guys have been sent out here, and she will pay a bounty of 1 megabuck per flower. At the moment, you've got 15 of them because you stumbled across 2 different flower clusters. And let me get back to screen sharing the map. I did this thing, in fact, I'm going to plug it a little bit. Over at fictioneers.net, I've set up, can I share that window? Yeah, I can. I need to share this window. And then change tabs. Are you looking at the map now?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so over here at fictioneers.net, I've set up a new system where anyone can do this. So anyone who's watching, if you're GMing online, you don't want to use a TTL or a VTL or whatever the hell they call those things. Like we're playing in a hangout here, but sometimes it's helpful to look at a map and to place markers on the map as you go. So I created this pretty bare bones system over at fictioneers.net. Anyone with an account can use it. It costs nothing. There's no ads on the site. And what I did was I uploaded the INRA map. And then I use these little markers, which are part of the system, to track your progress on the map. And I'll be continuing to do that as you move across the continent today. So you can see we've been here 10 days. That white circle is where you spent the night, the 10th night. And you will be waking up on the morning of the 11th day, or you're just waking up on the morning of the 11th day when we're going to resume play. So let me back up and step through the adventure thus far really quick. Day 1, you headed into the light forested area. You stumbled into a wolfadile lair and quickly dispatched them, including their young wolfadile babies. On day 2, you began searching for orchids because you had made it into the deeper part of the jungle. Duke finds a stone with weird markings on it and gets attacked by a webbed serpent. That was the first time Duke was attacked. The webbed serpent has hundreds of legs and giant fucking teeth and flies through the air. It's kind of a dragon-like creature. On day 3, you encountered a guy named Mark Forepaw, and he had a one-eyed alien buddy named Gunga. Between the two of you, since you were both orchid hunters, Nash and Forepaw decided to divvy up the jungle. Forepaw wants the northern side of it, since he wants the mountain, the side near the mountains, and you guys decided to stay south of the dividing line that sort of divides this jungle in half, which is why your path takes you through the center part of the jungle area. And he said he was going back to the trading post to rest for a few days before going out to search for more orchids. And so your ship was alerted. You alerted the Marduk to let the ship know that he would be coming. The next day, you pass out of range with the ship. On the 4th day, Nash discovers some blue fungus pods, which you break apart and then discover can be burned for warmth in the coldest part of the night. On the 5th day, you walked into toothed bird territory. There are giant clans of toothed birds that live in the trees in this area of the jungle, and they have these jagged points on the backs of their legs. They go flying past you and try to kick you. You successfully evade the toothed birds, and Reggie spots 2 more passing webbed serpents up in the sky. So those webbed serpents are really pretty common in this area. However, you're not attacked on that day. On day 6, there were no meaningful encounters. On day 7, Tom found a cluster of orchids. So that brings you to 7 at that point. 7 megabucks for the party. On day 8, while searching for orchids, Nash catches a glint of light from the top of the nearest mountain peak You can't tell what it is, but it looked like something metal or glass that was reflecting the sun just for a moment while the sun was visible between the clouds. But most of the time, as you know, on this planet, it's so humid and the air is so dense that the colored clouds are constantly covering the sky. It's almost always raining, and you very rarely catch a glimpse of the sun. So it's just for a fleeting moment, you caught this something reflecting off the top of the mountain. On day 9, you encountered a second web serpent that attacked Duke and wounded him again. Duke is in a bad way now. His medical system has been used twice. His suit was badly damaged and had to repair itself. He has now used up almost half of his suit's power. Everybody else has used up 1/5 of their suit's power, so they're doing much better than he is. However, he is, and he felt a little guilty about it. There was a little scene in there where he was apologizing for fucking up and endangering the party twice now. However, you did manage to kill the web serpent, and then you cooked it and ate it and chopped its meat up into little bits, and you now have 5 days worth of web serpent in little plastic bags that you can subsist on. Tastes just like chicken, doesn't everything?
Mm-hmm.
And then you make it to day 10, where Duke finds 8 more orchids. This brings your total to 15. At this point, later in the afternoon, you are threatened by a nearby voice. You take up arms, and turns out that it's 2 kids. It looks like 2 college kids. They've got like no weapons to speak of. They're just wearing like hiking gear, and apparently they've been watching you. They tried to threaten you, to let you. They tried to say that you were surrounded by superior firepower and you'd best leave the area. But that turned out to be a total ruse. It's just these 2 kids. As soon as they saw the weapons that you guys had, they ran off into the distance. However, you can tell that they're still watching you somewhere nearby. On the morning of day 11, you guys are taking shifts. And the shift order, by the way, let me remind you, it goes Nash, Duke, Tom, Reggie. So that's your shift order through the sleeping session of the night. But on the morning of day 11, Reggie gets up to replace Tom on watch, and just then you hear a sound you've heard once before. It affected Reggie negatively, and now it has an effect on Tom. It's this loud boom, boom sound. It's just much deeper and louder, of course, than I could make it without destroying my throat. And at that, Tom just sort of like gets this weird glazed look in his eyes, and he wanders right out of the camp and starts heading toward it at a sort of a brisk walking pace. We cut just as Reggie was reaching out going, "Tom, no!" But Tom has left the camp, and he seems to be under some sort of hypnotic control as he walks toward this gigantic sound. And there we have it. You're at the little white circle on the map right now. And Tom is walking sort of north by northwest, where the sound is coming from.
I've brought the dragon down.
I'm sleeping. I don't know what's going on.
Wake up! All of you wake up!
What?
What was his name? His name is Tom. Tom is the one who's walking off?
Yep.
Oh, it's Tom. Tom's walked off. You didn't hear the noise. We've got to go after him. And
What do you mean walked off?
He's walking off. He's walking off towards the noise.
Tom, get your ass over here.
At this moment, Nash, you hear it. It's unmistakable. Surprising you didn't hear it before.
Fuck.
You sleep too soundly.
Has that been going on all night?
No, just relatively recently. But now we've lost Tom, and I'm going to go after him.
All right. Yeah. Watch out for those kids.
All right. I will. Reggie cocks the gun.
Reggie, are you going off alone?
I don't want to, but I will.
So
I don't want to go off alone, but I will.
Nash kicks Duke's boot if he's not already awake.
Your concern is breathtaking.
You kick Duke's boot, and his reflexes are amazing. He rolls over, grabs his gun, stands up in combat ready position.
Right. Now that's a soldier.
Yeah. Duke, Tom.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. Tom wandered off. He like takes a look around their small camp. Is there anything like so I don't remember. Is it like early morning, like 2 in the morning, or is like the sun up? What's our tactical situation?
It is the sun just barely cresting the horizon, and of course the atmosphere is thick and there's lots of clouds. So it's a gloomy early morning, like a winter morning, but in a humid tropical setting.
Okay. And because we're at the pole.
Are you still seeing the map?
Yes. I have unlocked on your screen.
Good.
So everything is technically north, but for simplicity's sakes, as we look at the map, is the top of your browser north, for us describing directions?
We can call that north, or you can call that 1, and then counting around clockwise 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, that's right. That's what we did. Yeah. Okay, so he's traveling like 2, 3.
No, he's traveling sort of like between 6 and 1.
Oh, okay.
Up toward those hills, about 10 miles away.
Okay. So yeah, Nash is like, all right, let's get after him. We can have him wandering around. Those freaking kids are, we don't want to take them pot shots.
So is everybody going?
I think so. I mean, if we don't have anything.
Well, you got your camp. You haven't broken camp, so you've got your bags and your gear and your food is sitting around.
All right. Do we have tents and things, or?
We never said anything about tents. I mean, you basically sleep in your suit, and your suit takes care of everything you need, really.
Do we have a way to lock on to each other's suits' signatures? Because then, like a couple of them can break camp, and Reggie will go off, and then they can just kind of catch up. Is that a thing? Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but it's not built into the standard suit. The only modification you have in your suits is body cams.
Yeah.
But they're not necessarily shared.
All right.
And you don't have access to the ship, so you can't even bounce the signal off of it.
Right. Well, I mean, Nash would have had them police camp last night, right? So, nothing would have been loose because there's animals and things.
That's true.
And if we don't have tents, if we're just kind of sleeping in the suit, there might be the remnants of a fire.
Yeah, we just scatter the fire. Scatter the fire.
Yeah. I mean, because I think...
Yeah, some backpacks and bags. I mean, you probably have everything packed up into backpacks, bags, specimen jars or bags, and that kind of thing that hangs off of your utility belt or off your shoulders or, a backpack. But you probably took them off to sleep.
Yeah. All right, so, Reggie, you go. We'll grab Tom's bag. We'll be 2 minutes behind you.
All right. I'll leave a trail.
Yeah, keep your radio open.
It's open.
As Reggie heads out into the dense purple jungle, I'll share this and remind you one more time what the jungle looks like. Screen share. Where's the jungle? I know I have a jungle pick.
I'm assuming you grabbed your bag, Reggie.
I did. Yes.
Okay.
I did. Yes.
Well, that's true. We could be on comm, right?
Or that's just me, Reggie just screaming back.
Yeah.
Reggie, you can use your comm. I prefer to scream. You can speak to me in the comm, but I'll scream back at you.
All right. It's only going to work for so long.
Here we go. Here's the jungle you're facing. This is some dense shit.
Oh my god.
And as you go running off after Tom, you hear that terrible, huge home sound again. And little creatures are fleeing it. They're coming south. They're coming towards you. So the thing is north of you. And little things are flying through the air and leaping from tree to tree, running away from it. You do see Tom up in the distance. He seems to be walking as though in a daze. If you run, you can catch up with him in one round. And the boom sound happens again.
I am running. I'm trying to catch up with him. I'm thinking I need to just grab him because he's obviously in a trance.
Yeah, you need to move real fast here, and it's really dense, so I'm going to ask for a grace roll, beat 3.
I love it. Grace. My highest is a 5.
That is a yes, and I want you to tell me what happens in addition to catching up with Tom.
I tackle him to the ground. And I turn him over so I'm face to face, and I smack him. Tom!
You
Tom!
do that. That exactly happens. Let me make a roll for Tom.
I love it. You said that too quick. You said that too quick. I don't like that.
It's an and. It's, as long as you don't say anything ridiculous and unreasonable, that's what happens.
Okay, cool.
Tom does not seem to register. He looks at you, and it looks like he's looking through you, and then he glances back in the direction of the sound again. He's under some sort of psychological control.
Yeah, you're not moving. You're not going to move. And if he's looking back, and any attempt he makes to try to move towards it, I want to stop. And I mean, I don't want to tie him up, but I just kind of want to restrain him until.
Okay, he doesn't seem fully rational, so he's not using all of his strength or any tactics to try to break away from you. He's just kind of like a drunken person insisting on moving even though you're stopping him.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take all your strength, but it takes a lot of your strength to just keep him down to the ground. He just wants to get up, and he's barely registering like where he is. Meanwhile, what's everybody else doing?
Duke and I would grab up the bags, kick dirt into the fire if it was still low, so we didn't have anything burning us. If something were to catch, and then they would just move out in Reggie's direction. Nash would just he'd throw something at him every couple of minutes. Do you see him yet? Have eyes on target. Is there anything around? Do you see anything?
You see the trees to the north, and Reggie, you see this even more clearly. The trees to the north are rustling. Something really fucking big, something like the size of a city bus, is moving through the trees, and you see whole trees getting toppled over left and right. It's coming this way.
Am I out in the open, or is there? I want to try.
There really is no open. You're in this dense part of the jungle, but this thing is so big, it's making a path as it comes.
Then maybe I see the sort of get the idea of where the path is. I grab Tom and I just do this. I do one of those hugging rolls, and I try to get underneath some heavier brush out of the way of the perceived path.
That's a pretty good call. As a couple trees about 20 feet away from you are pushed to the ground, you see a gigantic beast. It's about 30 feet across. It looks like a massive sea slug with 6 big triangular tentacles that it walks on. They're each like 7 feet long. They look phenomenally strong, like whale tail kind of strong. In its center, it has this gigantic gaping mouth, a deep crimson color, and its mouth is stretching open wide as this world-shaking noise comes out of it.
Is it the noise?
This is the whom. Yeah, and actually, I need you to do a psyche roll for me now.
Psyche. My highest is a 3.
Uh-oh. That's not good. This sound is you've heard it before, and it freaked you out before. It almost made you want to do the same thing that Tom's doing, just sort of like wander toward it.
Now I just want to get in that mouth. Reggie looks at it and sort of...
Actually, the effect is different this time. It gets inside your head. It's rattling your brain. You can't take it, and the world goes black.
No!
You fall unconscious.
God damn it. Nash's like, Reggie, check in, Reggie.
Tom, meanwhile, begins crawling on all fours toward the thing. We're going to go into action frames now. The whom is visible. It is 20 feet north of you. It's issuing its gigantic noise. In fact, you know what? I'm going to also need a psyche roll from Nash, and I'll make it for Duke.
Oh, I'm scared to roll dice.
This has been DayTrippers, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the...
Duke is unaffected. He's aiming directly into the thing's mouth, and he's saying, "I'm ready for orders, Nash."
I got a 4.
That was your highest roll?
Yeah.
All right. You're feeling kind of on the edge like Reggie did the first time. This thing is getting inside your head, and it's hard to concentrate, but you're holding it together. What do you do?
He just, like, he pauses momentarily. So they're like, quick jogging, in the last direction that Reggie went to. And he just kind of like stops for a minute and he grabs his head and he kind of shakes his head. He says, Duke, did you, fuck, you feel that?
You can actually see it now. It's a giant sea slug 30 feet long on giant triangular tentacles.
Oh, fuck. Evasive maneuvers. Like he's, come around to the right, like get alongside of it.
It's still 20 feet away, but it is so large that it will reach you in one frame. You have one free action before it does something.
So if it's coming like directly towards me, I just go right.
And any orders for Duke?
I just tell him break right.
Okay, both of you break to the right. The whom comes toward you. The whom breaks to its left, which means it sees your movement and it's altering its path. It is now on top of you, and it is attack time.
Fuck.
So whom is it going for?
The closest person to it is Tom, and as it comes running this way, it just sort of casually whips out one of those giant tentacles and it's attempting to knock Tom against a nearby tree, of which there are many. The thing rolls. Tom rolls.
Sounds like a lot of dice.
Yeah, that's a lot of them.
And unfortunately, Tom is at a disadvantage because he's so disoriented. So the thing does hit him. He goes flying against a tree, and he's knocked out.
Oh gosh!
Fuck!
Oh man!
Does it?
We're now into the next frame.
All right, with a quick, just giving it a look over. Does it look like a predator? I mean, I guess it's a judgment call, right? I mean, does so like in real world equivalent, like does it look more like an elephant or does it look more like,
It looks like a massive, like a cross between a giant sea anemone with a gaping mouth in the center and a giant sea slug. It's 30 feet long and it moves on 6 big tentacles. It doesn't have fangs, but it does have thousands of what look like spiny cilia lining the interior of its cavernous mouth.
All right, so yeah, fuck. He tells Duke, he's like, just light it up.
Everybody's going to roll at once. And Nash, what are you doing?
I'm shooting too. Yeah.
Okay, you guys are both firing. Everybody rolls.
I got an 8.
I got an 8.
Oh, goddamn. Bullets are better than tentacles?
What that means for you is a yes, but Duke's shots seem to have no effect on it or missed. It's hard to tell because the thing is coming at you so fast, you're not even tracking individual shots.
Yeah.
However, it is so close to you that once again, it just reaches out with a tentacle and it bats you with this thing. You go flying to the ground. You take 1 point of might damage.
Oh no!
However, it's sort of a yes. It's a yes, but for the thing. So you do not lose grip of your weapon, and in fact, you still have it in sight. It's huge. It's hard not to have it in sight.
Yeah. Does the suit? So was it 2 points and the suit absorbed 1, or was it just 1 point and the suit is going to absorb that?
The +1 for the suit goes to your defense, so that should have been applied to your 8. If it wasn't, then you rolled a 9.
Well, so I rolled shooting. So I got a +2 for that, so I had 8 for that. So I'm just wondering on its hit.
Oh, so you're okay. So your actual roll was a 6.
Yes.
Okay, so your defensive roll then would have been a 7, which means that I actually beat you by 1, which means that you don't have it in sight. You're facing the other direction. You've been knocked to the ground, and now you're facing the other way.
Okay. Fair.
Reggie.
Yes.
Yeah. Give me a psyche roll.
I'd love to.
Beat 4.
Didn't work out too good last time. Got 6. I got
You're
a
back
6,
in the game, Reg.
3 threes, so that's good.
Nice. Yeah, you just made it. You're back in the game. So you shake it off, and you realize what just happened. Nash just got Duke is unconscious against the base of a tree, and Tom is crawling on his hands and knees toward the thing.
Oh no. This thing's now a permanent part of my sexual nightmares.
Reggie, you up?
Reggie, the thing sees you moving, and it looks like you're going to be its next victim. Here comes the third round. Everybody declare your actions.
Shoot.
So if I see that it's coming towards me, or that I'm its next target, am I like is Tom right there?
Tom is just a couple feet away from you, moving toward it, and it will hit you before he reaches it. It's moving really fast.
All right, so oh god, all right. So would it make sense to say like, okay, it sees me, I'm gonna try to draw it?
It's basically trying to stampede you, right?
Okay, all right. I'm going to turn and try to draw it away from everybody else at the same time, spraying bullets behind me.
Okay. That will be a grace roll plus firearm skill.
I guess probably take a penalty for
minus. Yeah, I'm trying to think what that penalty is. I think it's a -2 because you're actually attempting 2 actions at once.
I like it. All right. -2. Grace. Oh, that's 3 die. Excuse me. 3 die, 2 +1s. So just going at a +1 because I've got a +3 basically to my gun rolls. So 6.
I've got a 6.
Oh, I got a 6 too.
All right, you have a yes, but. So you hit the thing, and I'm going to come up with a but. Duke, let's see if he comes out of it. Duke comes out of it, but he doesn't get to act this round. Nash, what'd you roll?
I got an 8 for shooting.
Nash, you have hit it.
So he just kind of comes up on one knee. Took him to the ground, so he just kind of like rolls up on one knee and, just kind of sprays and prays like he knew where it was.
All right, you managed to put a line of shots across the lower jaw of this thing, and you see this weird dark purple ichor drip out of it. That must have hurt. You did some damage to it. Tom, let's see how Tom is doing. Tom falls on his back looking up at the thing, and he's just staring at it. He looks to be in some sort of religious awe. The thing is not even paying attention to him. It seems to know that he is not a threat at this moment.
Oh gosh.
Reggie, there was a but.
There was.
You did hit it, but where's my negative event table? Oh shit. Reggie, you just put a bullet through your own hand.
Yay!
You're just scrambling and waving around behind you and spinning and turning. You get in your own way. You put a bullet through your hand. You lose 1 grace.
Oh no! I lose 1 grace. Okay, got it.
And a new round begins. Everybody declare actions.
Nash is moving from his position and still shooting.
Still shooting and running. So
Roll.
I'll do that -2.
I love this dice roller tower.
My grace is down at a +1. 5.
Okay, so now Reggie broke to the right.
Yes.
Duke tried to break to the right but failed. I'm sorry, Nash broke to the right. Duke tried to break to the right but failed. Reggie was with Tom. Tom is a little bit closer, but it's not seen as an enemy. And Reggie just sort of ran out of the way. And that seems to me that Duke is now the nearest threat. And he's the one that the beast is going for.
Your turn.
Everybody tell me your rolls.
I got an 8 again.
I ended up with a 5.
I got a 6. So, Reggie, you have missed. Nash, that is a yes and. You hit it, and I want you to tell me an and.
Hits it in the head again, and does it have eyes? I was going to say maybe it blinds it, but maybe it doesn't have eyes.
You do not see any eyes.
It distracts it so that it comes after me instead?
Ooh.
I'll go you one better. It sort of rears up, and it's shaking itself and is spraying that purple blood all over the trees and all over you guys. It sort of stunned it.
Ooh.
You guys get one free action.
Oh, nice.
He's yelling in the headset, focus fire, focus fire.
All right, Duke finally gets a shot off. Nice. Duke gets an 8. Duke just hit it.
Fuck, I feel like I'm cheating. I got an 8 again.
Whoa.
You must have got some My Little Pony dice.
All right, so Duke and Nash are just spraying bullets into this thing simultaneously. Reggie, how about you?
Same. Yeah, if I shot myself in the hand, I'm still going to be sort of trying to outmaneuver it. And although it's not on me anymore, right?
Right.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then I've stopped. Do I get any other penalty with the bullet through the hand, or just like the down 1 dice on the grace is enough?
You're just going to be down 1 die on the grace.
Okay, then I've got a 9.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yes, and Reggie.
Now wait, but I rolled a 6, long gun +2, and it's a +1 long gun. So I added 3.
With
just
the 3 of you firing concentrated fire into it and spraying its entire body, that's too much for it. It falls over backward. It shivers.
Yeah.
And it stops moving. There is purple blood all over all of you guys. You just killed this fucking thing. Congratulations.
My hand! Oh, that's smart.
Did it get you?
Yeah.
You all right?
It got me with some of its acid blood. right through my hand.
Dude, you all right?
The forest
Duke,
seems terribly quiet right now.
Oh no, where's Duke?
Duke has got his shit back together. He runs up. The whole party regroups.
Oh.
And now that the noise has stopped, Tom sits up and he looks at you guys and he goes, "What did I miss?
What did you...
What is this
Tom.
shit?" He's covered in purple blood.
That's acid blood.
Wandered away.
I what? I did not. I was guarding the camp.
You heard a noise. And don't worry, we all heard the noise. There's no shame here.
Holy shit, mother of God, what is that thing?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that thing almost fucking ate you.
Yeah. And then all of us, too. It almost ate all of us.
At that moment, you hear a sound from the south. It's people coming through the trees. It's those 2 kids. They've come cautiously looking this way to see what's going on. And when they see that you've killed the thing, they come out into the open. The girl is clapping her hands, and the guy is like, "Holy shit, you killed a whom?"
A what?
Well, we call it a whom. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. What the fuck are you still doing here?
That makes too much
sense. The girl
sense.
says the whom is probably the apex predator on Inra, one of the greatest creatures that you can find in this jungle, known to have psychological side effects on those who hear its sounds. It's amazing you people are still alive.
We can vouch for that. Definitely had the psychological effects.
Why didn't it affect you two?
Yeah.
Oh, it has. It has. The boy points down at his crotch, which is soaking wet.
Come on, man. Pull yourself together.
Nash just kind of grins.
It's not that bad.
That was amazing. The girl says, the best thing about the home is it's quite tasty. Well, so I've read anyway. I mean, I've never actually seen one up close before. And she walks up to the body and begins taking pictures.
I wonder how this blood would be as sort of a marinade for our serpent chicken meat. We could try it.
I mean, if you want to grab some, we could cut. Do we want to carry a hunk of whom meat with us? I mean,
well, whom would carry it?
If you cut this thing up, it would feed you for days and days. It would go bad before you ran out. It's gigantic.
Sure.
Well, we should at the very least take enough meat that we can carry and not hinder us, and also to feed us for the time being.
The girl is taking selfies with the whom body in the background.
Oh my god.
That makes sense.
She says, Winford, get into this shot. Come on. The kids at school are going to shit when they see this.
Oh, gosh.
They're posing with their thumbs up and big smiles on their faces.
So can we'll just take what we need and leave these two to their ridiculous, their face space posts and all of that.
Yeah. Just you guys can have, whatever you want to take out of here. We'll just, we'll be on our way shortly. Is everybody like, so then Nash, like, look, is everybody okay? Like, do we need to take some time?
Reggie has a pretty bad wound in his hand. I have it very crudely wrapped at the moment with some bandages.
Tom also has some terrible bruising down the right side of his back.
Ugh.
But he can carry on.
Anything that we need to, like, medically attend to, or?
If you wanted to get that point of grace back, it might not be a terrible idea to wait for a while and let your suit's medical administration unit heal you.
I would enjoy that. I would enjoy my point of grace back. My grace, next to my beautiful mind, are all that I have.
You'll have to sit tight for an hour then.
Oh.
Could we do that and also, like, hack off some meat and smoke it?
Oh my god, that's such a wonderful idea. I could totally get high right now.
No, Reggie.
Wait, I see what I've done. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because it'll be easier to carry, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, so Nash, like, rolls his shoulders and is like, yeah, all right, well, let's sit tight for a little bit. At least we know where these two are.
All right, well, Winford and Nell, which is the girl's name, pull out a couple knives, which seem to be the only weapons they have. They've got hunting knives. That's it.
Nash just shakes his head.
She begins cutting the skin away and carving off big chunks of meat. Looks like she's field-skinned an animal before. She's like, I've read that this stuff is good. I can hardly wait to taste it. This is amazing. Never thought we'd actually see one. She seems to have no fear about this at all. And she keeps on repeating points about it that she's read in a book.
You look like you've done this before.
Well, not with a whom, but I'm training to be a slip space survival guide. So I've read everything about the planet Inra.
Oh.
This was in my spatial studies course.
Are there any
parts
parts
of this? Chapter on the planet Inra.
Are there any parts of this that are better than the rest?
Oh well, you want to go for the muscly part near the legs and the legs themselves.
All right. So Nash pulls out his combat knife. He's like, "I'll give you a hand."
You guys can get. If you want to, you can get like 50 pounds of meat off this thing.
Can we not hinder ourselves? Can we still move at the same pace if we're carrying that much food? If we split it up?
If you split it all up, yeah. Yeah, your suit does have servo motors to aid your strength. So you'd each be carrying 12 pounds. If you want to take it, actually no, because the kids are going to want to take some of it. So you might be carrying 10 pounds each.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, they've got some time, so they could cook it up some.
You get like a big roast-sized thing out of each tentacle.
Mm-hmm. Were we overly concerned with them? We're just going to leave them, right? Or should we just take care of them?
Are we saying this out loud?
No, I was I was in my Brandon Nashim voice.
No, so we didn't know how many there were, or how they were armed or anything. Now that we see them, with their knives and whatever. Nash is no longer concerned that they're going to be an issue.
Did we already cover if there were any more of them, or was it just the two?
It just seems to be the two of them.
All right.
And the girl is starting a fire.
Okay, so
and the guy is still. He seems a little bit afraid. She seems to have no fear at all. But he pissed himself when he first heard the sound, and then he fell to the ground. So he's like a little scuffed up, and he's kind of shaking it off. He does not participate in carving up the body. He just sits there, kind of staring at it, and he keeps on saying "fuck" over and over again.
It's occurring to me all of a sudden. Are you two going to be okay? Because we're taking off in a little while. Are you going to be okay?
The two of them look at each other. The boy looks like he's worried.
Yeah, I mean, you've pissed yourself, mate. And this one over here seems ready to just stay here forever.
But the girl says, of all the excursion logs that I've read, there were only two that actually encountered a Whom face to face. I really didn't expect that we'd come across one. She looks at the boy. There seems to be a secret exchange between them.
Ooh. Now, what was that
She's
all
like,
about?
I think we'll be fine. Really. I mean, it's nice of you to ask, but we just want to find some orchids and get out of here.
Did we know they were looking for? We knew they were looking for orchids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Really, we'll be okay. I don't think. What are the chances of meeting two?
Well, what were the chances of meeting one?
The boy is nodding his head, and the girl is just like shrugging her shoulders.
You're all shoulders over there. I don't think you want to admit that it would be a bad thing if you encountered one of these on your own.
So do we have our visors up right now? Or are you emitting from the speaker?
They've seen our faces.
Yeah, you can go either way. What do you want?
I mean, Reggie would have his visor up if he didn't think that there was any risk.
Okay. The air is thick and the oxygen content is a little low, so you guys are breathing really hard. But other than that, it's air.
Yeah, I think he would have done it just because he felt stifled having shot through his hand, and we're already breathing heavy and sweating because of that.
All right, so then Nash is he stands up and he kind of wipes his hand off on a rag, and she's the dagger, the combat knife, and kind of just steps up close to you and says, "Don't worry about them. We have a job to do, and we got to be getting back sooner or later. These people are not our mission."
I mean, I know you said it to Reggie, right?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I know that, but they're still kids, And she seems like she just doesn't get it, and he gets it too much. There's no one in the middle to sort of balance them out.
Well, they made choices, and they'll have to deal with the ramifications of those choices.
Yeah, you're cold, Nash.
We don't need any encumbrances.
Get you a space heater, I think, for that suit.
The girl looks really sure of herself. She seems to honestly believe that this was just a fluke and that she can handle anything that this planet can throw at them. She's like, I'm a survivalist guide in training.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about me.
Who's training her? That's what I want to know.
I've read everything there is to know about this planet, and I've looked at all the maps, and I've read all the excursion logs. Really, we'll be fine.
So you're training yourself?
Well, no. I mean, I'm going to school at the academy, but it's expensive, and we thought this would be a good way to make a little money.
Reggie sort of squints at them and looks back to Nash and just sort of shrugs like, "Oh, I mean, fine. That's fine," and starts to kind of like walk off in the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, Nash will sit by the fire and help to cook food, but as soon as our time is up, we're back on the road, so to speak.
Well, the kids sit at their fire and they divvy up their food. The boy eventually calms down. He keeps on looking at you guys like he wants to say something, but he doesn't.
I think Nash should probably let it go. I don't think he would say anything.
All right. So after an hour hanging out with these kids, are you? I'm not sure it's actually necessary for you guys to eat yet. You really only need to break to eat once a day, so you probably don't need to eat yet. How many days worth of whom meat are we thinking?
3?
Yeah, 2 or 3, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can get away with 3, I mean, I think it should stay. It should hold for 3 days, right?
I mean, we can kill and eat other things too.
Maybe we'll find another home and we'll take it out.
Nice. Okay, 3 days of whom meat for the whole party, and that is it. The kids are talking among themselves, and occasionally they point in various directions, like they're trying to figure out which way to head next.
Right. Yeah. Once we're done, packing up all the meat and checking weapons and reloading clips, and we're all standing ready to walk out, Nash just walks up to the male and just kind of puts a hand on his shoulder and he says, "You guys be careful out here," and then just walks off into the forest.
The kid nods, and then he starts swatting at the air, and you guys notice there's a horde of these gauzy winged big flies. They're like maybe the size of a marble. Yeah, there's dozens of them. They seem to be attracted to the blood. This whole area is starting to swarm with these swamp flies. The kid is swatting them and hitting at them, and the girl says, "Oh, I know what you do," and she pulls out a couple torches and lights them. They start waving the torches around their face. They burn several flies. The flies keep on amassing.
Nash just keeps right on walking.
All right, everybody following Nash?
Reggie looks back, but I'm following Nash. Got to keep that chain of command,
Yeah, I feel like Nash doesn't have to say anything. Like, I'm up and walking, so clearly you guys are following.
Yes, that is happening.
Right.
We have to keep it. We have to keep that chain of command strong.
All right. So as they get further away, Nash would put his visor back down because you don't want to be huffing, low oxygen air all this time. We got to move, and the suits are certainly going to help with that. So, he's just in on the comm, and he's like, we've got 18 of these things. We've got some extra meat. Duke, your suit's holding up all right?
The suit has repaired itself, and his point of damage has repaired itself. So he's back in working order.
I mean, I think we could push this for another day, maybe 2. We can find a big score. If not, then, I say we turn around. I don't want to walk all the way around this damn island.
Which way you want to go then?
So I think like 1.5 to 2. I think we're gonna go a little bit further up. So looking at the map, we were kind of like in the center of a hex, so kind of
like head back and up a little bit.
2-ish, maybe more 2 than 1.
Okay. And as you guys are leaving, the kids are also packing up to leave. You notice that they go. I'm going to go ahead and say west. What I really mean is like 5.5.
Okay.
Looks like they're heading back toward that mountain peak where you saw the glint.
Okay. Nash would just
they wave goodbye.
Yeah. Nash would write that off as them leaving. I mean, if they came from that way once already, they clearly didn't find anything, so we don't have to worry about going that way.
Okay. And we head on for the rest of the day, and you said you're going in a number 2 sort of direction?
Yes.
Do I get my point of grace back?
You do. At the end of that hour,
Huzzah.
You are healed. I'm going to use a number 1 to represent the number 11, and here you are at the end of the next day, where we make an encounter roll.
Ooh.
Still no orchids.
Well, maybe the encounter is orchids. You don't know.
The encounter may be orchids. Let's see what the encounter is. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, because 2 takes us deeper into the jungle, so he's figuring the deeper the jungle, maybe the less molested it would be.
Oh, my screen share stopped. Okay. You do not find any orchids, but near the end of the day, you're starting to think about looking for a place to set up camp. You come across a dry rise of land with an opening into it, and this opening seems to be man-made. It has a sort of a squarish shape to it, and placed all around the outside of it, like the inward curling fangs of the whom's mouth, are these big yellow spikes that sort of curve outward, like protecting the tunnel, some sort of defense mechanism. Clearly seems to be a man-made, or I don't know about man, but this was not created by some idiot creature, because these teeth were deliberately placed as some sort of security mechanism. Sharp stakes coming out of the ground, pointing outward.
Kind of like what they put up for lions in the desert, in the savannah. Kind of like with outward facing.
Outward facing points all around the roughly rounded square tunnel that leads downward into the ground.
So Nash holds up a closed fist. Kind of takes a look, cycles through the filters on the on the heads up display. Does anything stand out infrared wise, or any other kind of anything not visual spectrum?
It is warm inside there, and there is a heat signature coming from down at the end of the tunnel.
All right, so he's like, something smart is down there. We probably don't need to engage necessarily. I mean, if it can speak, it might be able to help us. Everything else we've seen on this planet has been ready to kill us, so it seems unlikely. But it's clearly more than an animal.
I don't suppose there's any real reason to poke at it now.
Brains roll for everybody.
Really?
Yeah. Beat 2.
3.
5.
You remember, and Reggie remembers even more. You remember that there is an intelligent species that lives on this planet. The Iranians are amphibious humanoids with sort of a human slash, I don't know, maybe a frog-like kind of appearance. They're amphibious, although they are, two-legged, two-armed, and one head. Reggie, you remember reading that there's a theory that these people, as well as many hominids throughout the galaxy, came from a common strain which was spread throughout the galaxy millions of years in the past. It's a theory called panspermia, which means that millions of years back down the evolutionary chain, we may be related to them.
Ooh.
And that's what that guy had with him, right? The first guy we ran into.
No, in fact. The creature that the guy had with him, who answered to the name of Gunga, had one eye and a tuft of hair on the top of his head. Did not look amphibious, really. Just sort of green-skinned humanoid. You don't know where he came from. Some other planet.
Okay. All right. So what do you think, fellas? Do you want to just skip this straight away?
I mean, I don't see any reason why we should. Why we'd need to, unless we feel there's more of a chance they're going to be helpful to us.
Well, the problem is we're gonna. Could we wait for the music?
How did the Mr. Chili ice cream drone get out here?
Oh God, that drone! It followed us.
Oh, okay. Oh shit!
I love how it says hello in between each round of the zone. Okay, he is stopping right across the street from me. Isn't that wonderful?
That son of a bitch.
Oh, he is backing up. I think he's found some victims.
I just wonder if we should wait so it doesn't totally fuck the audio for later. It's not quiet.
Understood. Yeah, we can take a little break here. I guess you can edit this part out.
Yeah, it's easy enough done. Although I'll probably cut this and leave it all at the end.
The outtakes reel.
Yeah. It kind of makes me want to have ice cream, but I had a really big dinner.
Yeah, we can break now. We can talk out of character for a moment. If you have anything.
So, like, what Nash is thinking, as far as like what we should do, if we're getting close to where we're getting ready to set up camp, is to maybe get an eye shot of where this thing is, so that if it comes out, it's like, oh fuck, there's people waiting for me or whatever. That if we're away, we at least have to look for us or stumble across us. So like, if we don't see it, maybe it's like, oh shit, they don't see me. I'm just not going to worry about it, So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Which I guess I have to reiterate once the music goes away.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go grab some more coffee. Seems like a good moment.
Yep. John, you are rocking the fuck out.
Yeah, there it is.
That makes this my ringtone.
Yeah, me too.
Woo! Oh, shit. Got a lot of things interrupt the show before, but not Mr. Softy.
Yeah. And it's just parking. It's parked right there. Just chilling. Hello.
Oh boy.
Son of a bitch.
On the ground every day.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know what they're talking about. Donkeys and ponies, okay. Every day, in every way.
Oh, there's lyrics.
I don't know what the hell to say, but that's okay. Just like they say, you will meet another monster every day. I was feeling kind of funky because I lost my monkey. I was talking about it all day.
I'm definitely going to keep that now. All right.
Okay, he's going off now.
All right. So Nash is like, all right, what do you guys want to do? Blah, blah, blah. We had all that. So he's like, he kind of like looks up, we're getting towards the end of the day here. I suggest we pull back from a visual on that cave. If we stay right here, it may feel threatened. If we're out of eye shot, it may stay clear of us if we stay clear of it.
Agreed.
So how far away do you go?
50 yards, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, if it's getting late, like they're not going to wander like a mile away.
Well, you were getting ready to set up camp. So are you like maintaining surveillance, or are you going away?
I mean, they probably wouldn't surveil the tunnel. I mean, Nash's thing is like, hey, let's just move away from the opening. We're clearly going to set up camp. We're going to set watches. He just doesn't want to be within like visual of it in case it like walks out and it's like, oh fuck, who are these people? Stab.
Okay. All right. So you find a little clearing a little ways away. You set up your camp, and we do the normal watch order. So Nash, you have first watch, and just a couple hours later, you hear a sound that it sounds like it's coming from the direction of the tunnel. It is a spoken word, and it's repeated several times, but it's repeated kind of quietly, like they're trying to get your attention without speaking too loudly. And the word is "auf, auf, auf." It's kind of like, that tone where someone's going, psst, hey.
Yeah.
It's like that. Auf, auf.
So Nash like straightens up a little bit. He's probably like fully in a suit, so he like flicks the visor to like see where the signature's coming from. Like he'd switch over to IR to see where it is.
It's absolutely coming from the mouth of that cave, that tunnel.
Okay. Does it look like it's carrying anything? It's just kind of like standing there waving or whatever.
Well, you said you got far away enough so that you don't have visuals, so that all you've really got is the fact that the direction of the sound lines up with the direction of the tunnel on your HUD.
Gotcha. Okay. So he'll go over to Reggie and nudge him. Reggie.
Where's slow?
She's
lunch.
Hey. There's something out there. It seems like it's trying to get our attention.
You want me to check it out?
Oh yeah, either that or it's trying to wave one of its own in. I don't know.
All right. I'll try to. You want me to do a recon sweep?
Well, just then, Reggie, you hear it too. It's kind of whispering when it's going, "Oof, oof."
It's an oaf.
I mean, do you speak any other freaking kind of languages?
No. I mean, certainly not oaf.
Yeah. All right, fuck. That's what I figured.
Okay, brains rolls. All right, let's both of you. Beat a 3.
It is 2, I think.
6.
Nice.
5.
You both remember at the same time. You snap your fingers in unison.
Oh, shit.
When the girl and the boy were talking quietly among themselves, you heard the girl several times say the word "aufa."
Oh. So are they?
That's a thing that lives here.
Okay.
All right, shit. I wonder if we could try to communicate with it, I guess, right?
Is it getting any closer?
You think maybe it is. It waits a minute, and then it says "oof" a couple times, and then it waits a minute again, and it seems like it might be a little closer than it was last time.
All right, we should probably get everybody up.
All right, yeah.
I'll rouse them quietly.
All right, I'm gonna move up a little bit.
All right. And Reggie
Nash, are you moving up alone?
Yeah, well, he's waking them up. Like, he's not getting too far away. Like, he's creeping.
Just trying to get a visual.
Yeah.
I'm about to give you a visual.
Oh.
Oh, no.
So, Nash, you move forward into the forest a little bit, and you eventually catch sight of this creature. He's kneeling beside a tree. And let me screen share this with you.
Oh, my gosh.
So this thing has big, dark eyes, and it's carrying some sort of staff with weird markings on it. The markings remind you of the markings on that stone that Duke had found. See if I can go the other way. But you can see a little bit more of it. There you go. There you go. Okay, so it sees you at the same moment that you see it, and it sort of crouches, so it's still bent over. It just looks like it doesn't stand totally upright, but it's sort of hunched over and it's leaning on its staff, and it raises one hand very slowly, and it says, "Oof, oof."
So Nash like mimics the movement. He like puts his hand, like slowly raises his hand and goes, "Oof."
The thing actually smiles, and it reaches behind it and it pulls something out of the back of that strange garment that it's wearing. It's holding an Iranian orchid, which it holds up like it's offering it to you.
So like Nash does like the dog thing, like he like cants his head,
Nice.
and like leans forward a little and goes, "Oof."
And the thing starts going, "Oof, good, goddamn, what beta bot." Now it's talking. Now it's full on talking to you, and you don't understand a fucking word. But every once in a while it says "oof," and it's pointing at the orchid.
It's speaking in rewind.
Yeah, so he nods his head. He didn't bring his thing, but he says like in his helmet to Reggie, come up with an orchid. Bring an orchid.
Do we have an orchid?
We have like 18 of them.
How many were we looking for?
As many as we can get.
As many as you can get. They're worth 1 megabuck each. You've got 15 of them right now, but you have to split it among the team.
All right, so Reggie appears through the brush, and he's got an orchid. I've brought you an orchid.
All right. So he grabs the orchid from Reggie, and he like holds his hand out with the orchid in it, and goes, "Oof."
Oh, oof.
The thing cocks its head and it sits down. It looks like that wasn't what it wanted to hear.
Do I give it some? Oh,
it's not unhappy, but it's not happy either.
Reggie
it stands up again. It takes one step toward you, and it gestures toward you with its orchid several times in a row, like pantomiming giving you his orchid. And he's making those weird chattering noises you can't understand.
Reggie takes out some of the whom meat and doesn't. I'm not handing it to it. I just would like to. Oof.
The thing smiles and stands up as straight as you've seen it stand up, and it comes waddling toward you with this weird sort of frog-like gait. It's walking right toward you, Reggie. It doesn't seem threatening at all.
What do I do? What do I do?
It doesn't seem threatening at all. It's holding out the orchid like it's coming to you to give you its orchid.
I take the orchid
and it grabs the bag.
Yes. The food, yes. Right.
You let him take it?
Yeah, yes. Here you go, frogman.
He grabs the bag and he scampers away. He's just about 6 or 10 feet away. He's got a big smile on his face now, and he's chattering like a motherfucker.
Wait a minute. Do we want to take advantage of this?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it knows where to find him, but how the fuck are we going to communicate with it?
Wait, oof, oof, oof,
You recognize the word whom in its dialogue.
oof. Wait.
It's got a big smile on its face, and it's making all sorts of noises, and you hear it say something about whom, and it points at the bag. So it knows where this meat came from, and it seems impressed.
Let's follow it.
Did it just take off, or is it still looking at us?
It grabbed the bag and it ran away like 10 feet, and then it turned around and sat back on the ground. Now it's talking kind of to itself and looking at the meat. And it keeps saying the word whom and looking at you guys. Big smile.
I take out the rest. Or like another hunk of the meat and say, we have more whom. More whom. Oof whom.
The thing turns around to show you that its backpack is empty. But then it starts waving like you should follow it.
I say we do it.
Okay, we will follow for more oof. And I hold up the orchid, oof, and then I hold up the meat, whom. And then I do this like little back and forth motion, like yes.
The thing is walking away from you, mumbling,
Right.
And every once in a while it looks back to make sure you're following.
Okay, I follow. I mean, yes, Reggie follows.
So
Nash, Nash was like, who knew you were a linguist?
Right, I suppose I should look into this. Maybe it's a hidden talent that I have.
So I think they leave Duke. I think they leave Duke and Tom. I think so. Nash would just be like, hold tight. The native person is apparently has a line on some orchids. Just stay frosty, and we'll be back shortly. Keep your comms open.
The thing leads you back to the tunnel, and once at the tunnel, it crouches down into the tunnel, and it makes some sort of hooting noise. And a couple others of its kind come up the tunnel and begin removing the spikes so it can enter. And it keeps looking around to make sure you're still there.
Oh, man. Are we going in?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, it's probably fine, right? It's probably fine.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be all right.
Yeah, we're fine. All right, let's go.
So after just a minute, they've removed enough of the spikes for you guys to be able to get your bodies. You're a lot bigger than them. They're probably like 4.5 feet tall. And so they have to remove most of the spikes to admit you guys. So they keep on gesturing. The one that you met keeps on gesturing. You should follow him down into the tunnel.
Probably fine. It's probably fine. Let's just continue down the strange spike tunnel, following the frogman for more oath in trade for whom.
Right.
So Nash pulls out like the red flashlight because he's cognizant that they have the big dark eyes, so he doesn't want to blind anybody because that'll turn this south real quick. So he, brings out the red flashlight and just like points it down to the ground so they can see where they're going.
And when you do that, a couple of the frogmen point at the flashlight and they begin chattering in their weird language.
Do they seem like angry chattering, or more like, oh, what the fuck is that?
No, yeah, they're surprised, maybe impressed.
Okay.
Oh my.
The tunnel leads briefly downward through like tangled roots of the surrounding trees. You have to duck and squeeze your way through in a couple places because, again, you're a lot bigger than they are. And you finally make it into a poorly ventilated den. There's a couple air holes dug up in the ceiling with the roots of trees kind of piercing through the ceiling and twisting and winding in weird ways. But they've cleared out this area large enough for 9 adults, and there's 5 children in here. You found a tribe of these things. There are some rudimentary benches and bowls and spoons and simple tools and implements made out of wood, fiber, bone, and dried mud. And near the back of the chamber, there is a box made of decorated clay, like tablets.
Do we see any orchids? Any oaf?
You do not see any orchids. They lead you down into the den area where they sit in a large circle, and they sort of wave the children off into the back corner. They're sitting near the box, the clay box. And they pat the ground like you should sit down with them in the circle.
Okay.
Yeah, Nash just squats.
Yeah. So does Reggie. Reggie sits cross-legged.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Nash does not. He's combat ready.
You notice that most of them are wearing that long neck covering that sort of drapes over their shoulders and down their back, but only the first guy has those ornate markings on his, and only the first guy carries a staff. So he seems to be the authority here and does most of the talking as they chatter among themselves. He's pointing at the bag of whom he's explaining where it came from, and they're all nodding their heads.
When there's a break in the chattering, Nash would just kind of look at him and sort of incline his head and point to himself and say Nash, and then kind of like gesture to the guy with the staff.
The guy with the staff raises his staff, taps his chest, and says, "Awufa bonbo."
So he puts both of his hands out and kind of shakes them and puts his head down big chief kind of thing, I guess. Like real bad old 50s movie.
I was thinking that Aouf meant orchid, but I guess I was wrong.
It might. It still might. I don't know.
Bombo is he seems pretty excited that you guys are willing to talk with him and seem to be breaching some sort of understanding with him. And he turns around to the clay chest. He opens it up and he pulls out a couple, looks like hard woody tubers, like yams of some kind. He pulls out a bunch of them and he distributes them around the circle. The little one next to you hands you one, Nash.
Nash shrugs to Reggie and takes it.
Yes, I think we have to take it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they begin sucking on these things and biting off chunks of it. It seems kind of dry and fibery, like they have to soften it with their spit for a little while before they can bite off a chunk of it.
Yeah.
And they're gesturing towards you like you should eat some too.
Nash tentatively tries to bite it because he was going to break his teeth. If he's able to bite into it, he'll bite like a little piece and see whether or not he can chew on it.
It's softer than wood, but harder than styrofoam.
Okay.
It has a sort of a dusty organic smell and taste to it, and there's nothing immediately triggers any. You don't want to spit it out immediately. It's just like kind of dusty and dry and hard to chew.
Okay. So he'll grin and very awkwardly chew on it, and then he says to Reggie, he's like, give him some of the fucking hoom meat.
All right, that's good.
I can't eat this.
All right. Reggie starts producing some hoom meat.
How much? Remember, you have 3 days worth.
So I probably only would take out another handful of it, and just have it out.
Well, I would take a piece and eat that, and then gesture to them to eat this.
There you go. Oh yeah, like maybe we pass it around.
Yeah, like clearly we're sharing
Yes.
some kind
Yes.
of, you know.
Oh, that's a
Very
good idea.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The one next to you, as soon as you pull out the whom meat and open the bag, it like reaches in the bag and grabs it, takes it, pulls it out of the bag and pulls it out of your hands.
Excuse me.
Starts taking bites off of it with gusto. The others are all chattering, and he's like waving, like, in a minute, you'll get yours in a minute.
Is this the chief?
No, it's the little one sitting next to Nash.
I'd probably look at the chief incredulously. Ofa?
The chief is smiling, and he turns around. He looks into the chest, and he reaches in, and he pulls up one orchid.
My God.
He holds it out toward you.
I take the orchid, and then I take out another handful of meat, and then I'll actually start like Nash. We'll get into it. We'll just start handing out the meat, and then we can look back at the chief. Oofa, as I count off each of the handfuls of meat.
Yeah, so Nash would like hand the meat and like point to the chief, like, meat for you, and then like grab the orchid and be, like, point at the orchid and then point, tap his chest, be like, this for you and then this for us. See if he, if he gets it.
He totally gets it. He seems excited now. Bombo. Oof. 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 He reaches into the chest and he pulls out 2 more orchids. He gives one to each of you. And then he makes a gesture with his hand that you don't understand, but he seems to be indicating the chest.
So Nash would cautiously stand and go over to the chest.
They watch you warily as you move toward the chest. They look like they may be afraid you're going to try to take their chest. When you look into it, you see there are no more orchids left, just a bunch of those hard woody tubers.
So Nash, looks at Reggie and like gives like a real quick shake of his head, and then points at the orchid, and then like does the feet walking motion, and then points to himself and to Reggie, and then to the chief.
Hang on, letting a cat out. Go. You too, little one. Go. Go. Okay. The chief holds up the chest and tips it over so that Reggie can also see there are no more orchids in there. And he says a few words in their weird language.
And then, he does the same thing again. Like, he points at himself, he points to Reggie, he points to the flower, he does the little feet walking motion, and then like gestures to the chief. Okay. And then does the feet walking motion again to like reiterate, like, you and us, we go walk for
more orchids.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think perhaps he understands what you're saying. There's a look of comprehension on his face. And he says a few words, and then he holds up one fist, and then he makes a circle around his fist with the finger of his other hand. He draws a circle one full time around his fist. Let's go for a brains roll. Let's call it beat 4.
Oof. 6!
Not me.
Okay. You think you notice that he pointed up at the sky just before he made the circle around his hand. And you think he's telling you one day, like the sun going down and the sun coming up one time.
Okay.
That's what you think he's telling you.
I think, Reggie, he wants us to wait till the morning, possibly.
With them.
It might be like one cycle. I'm not quite sure. Like, I think that was the sun.
Okay, well, they want us to stay here with them.
I guess, right? But would they come out in the sun? You see the eyes. Like, don't think they.
Yeah, maybe they don't like the sun.
Well, you don't often see the sun directly on this planet at all.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. We could. If it's going to score some friggin' orchids, we could wait here. They don't seem like they pose any threat.
That's
now
why
the children can't contain themselves any longer, and they come running over into the group, and the adults begin tearing off pieces of moon meat and feeding the kids.
If they're going to get us... I don't see any reason why we can't just feed these people right now.
We did that.
Well, I think we still have some more left.
Well, maybe we hold that for now.
I'm gonna rule that you've given them 1 day worth.
Okay, cool. I've got at least 2 days left in my bag.
You're left with 2 days of your own.
Yeah, the other guys have their meat on them.
Yeah. I think it's a nice thing to do to help these people out, especially if they're going to show us where there's more orchids.
Well, when you pull out more meat, it gets distributed quickly around the circle. They relax completely now. They seem to be assured that you're friendly, and as they're eating, the elder, the authority figure, he begins humming some weird song, and then the kids join in with him, and a couple of the adults join in. And before you know it, everybody's singing this weird song as they pass around the chunks of meat. You can't tell if this is a religious thing or what.
Star Wars reference.
What do you mean?
I can't place it. They're singing, and then now we're flashing to another planet where they're singing, and then another planet where they're singing. I just couldn't. I couldn't put it together, so that's all I got.
Yeah, I think Nash would just lean himself up against the wall, and then get on the radio back to the other two and be like, "Hey, if you guys feel like you're okay where you're at, you can stay there by all means. If you want to pull up closer to where we are, we're gonna stay here tonight, and they might show us where there's a shitload of orchids."
Roger that. We'll seal the camp and stay frosty.
All right, I like it. If anything happens, you yell out right quick.
You know I will.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, so they have some really roughly woven fiber blankets.
Oh.
They pull out. You guys are there for a while. They're singing their song. They're eating. The children fall asleep, and they tuck the children under some of these blankets in the back. They've got like some of the softer leaves made into little beds. The kids lay down on the beds, and then they put these blankets over them. And then you notice that there are more piles of leaves laying around. They just sort of like pull leaves together into a sort of a bed, and then they one by one. They begin curling up on their beds and pulling these blankets on top of them. The chief comes over and hands you 2 blankets.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nash just
boing.
nods and holds his hands out like, yes, thank you. Puts his hands out and pulls them to himself like, yes, I will take your.
Do you get any sleep tonight?
I kind of feel like Nash nods off and then has the nightmare because this is eerily reminiscent. But
it was pretty early in your watch, and you had first watch. So yeah, it's as far as your body clock is concerned, you're getting ready for sleep. Now, Reggie actually was asleep and you woke him up. He's on his second wind right now, but he's supposed to have last watch as dawn comes. So somewhere pretty soon, Reggie's going to start getting tired too.
Reggie would try to. I think until it would just get. I would just get too tired. I think Reggie would kind of just be looking around, like just uneasy, just the slightest bit of unease. Like, are we really going to sleep here? We're really just going to go to sleep. And it just. I mean, Reggie wouldn't do anything specific. He would just eventually nod off.
Yeah, I think Nash has the nightmare.
Tell us about your nightmare.
So I mean, it's obviously related to the failed mission, and so going in, like, maybe in the very back of his mind is like the thing comes up, and they're starting to have this communication, like he's having these flashbacks of, how everything went pear-shaped, on that mission. So like, I think like in the darker recesses of his mind, like he thinks he's making some kind of amends, not like slaughtering everyone, which wasn't his bag in the first place. So I think it reminds him so much of that, like sort of as he drifts off to sleep, he sort of drifts back into that nightmare where, the mission goes pear-shaped and people are murdered and, whatever. And like, he just, wakes up like in a cold sweat, jerks awake and kind of like gives a little yell, and I like it. Like the flashlights are like, it's pitch black. So he wakes up, doesn't know where he is. Oh, fuck. And he's like reaching around because he doesn't he's so completely discombobulated.
Okay. When Nash shouts out in his sleep, it startles a couple of them. They jump up. And the first thing they do is they grab those pointy bone-like sticks. They seem really worried about you all of a sudden. They're pointing the sticks at you and shattering. Makonga! Makonga!
I think it takes him a minute, and then when they start chattering, it kind of like starts to bring him back around, and he kind of like, feels on himself where he put the flashlight. And then, like, flicks the flashlight on, and again, like, holds it down.
And the ones who are awake sort of like step back a little bit, and then they creep up. They're really, really interested in that flashlight.
Yeah, he kind of like he sets it like he'll dig like a real quick hole and like set it so that it shines up to illuminate the cavern.
Nice.
And he points to himself and he like makes like, puts his hands by his head like he's sleeping, and then he like shakes his head like he's trying to try to explain, like bad dreams. So he kind of like does this, but then like, waves his hand in front of his face. And then he's like points to himself, and then he's like, calm, like down. Like, okay, like he gives him the okay symbol.
They begin copying your gestures and making sounds. You really can't tell whether they're understanding you or not.
What?
But at least they no longer seem so excited.
Yeah, like he'll give like one hand, like like to point the weapon down, like like okay, like
you're fine.
Don't need that.
Yes, they do lower their weapons. One of them walks up and makes the same gesture to you. Actually touches you. He's gently pushing you back down into your bed.
Jesus.
Yeah, Nash lets him.
Their skin is kind of rubbery and clammy.
Yeah.
Oh
So
no.
He he like settles himself down like he's gonna go back to sleep, but he's up now.
Okay. Well, Nash, you eventually do drift off to sleep, and a few hours later, some unknown amount of time later, Reggie wakes up because it's the regular time for his watch.
All right, it's my watch. All right, I got it.
You look over beside you. You see Nash. He's quietly snoring. You look up around the circle. You notice there's only 4 adults here. 5 of them have taken off. The elder is here, and 3 others.
And everyone's sleeping?
Everyone's asleep. No, actually, the elder just opened his eyes and looked at you. He's actually sort of faking it.
Oh my god. Okay. I just sort of give him a little that. Hey there.
Motumbakonga. Monmo. Minmotamanya. And he makes that circle around his fist again.
Right. Yep. Right. Yep. And I'll mimic it. The same gesture. One day, when it's morning. Right. I gotcha.
And then he comes over to you. He takes a stick, and he draws. Give me a brains roll. Heat 2.
Hey, I rolled 2 1s.
Oh, Jesus.
Seriously?
Yeah.
All right. He's drawing something in the dirt with a stick, and you have no fucking idea what that means.
It's a very nice drawing. So it's obvious that 4 of them are missing.
5 of them are missing.
So is there a place? Like, are the blankets still where they were?
No, the blankets have been put away.
All right, so Reggie gestures over to where they were sleeping and just looks back at the chief and just, where are the others? Oh, far.
The chief nods, says a few words, and points at the drawing he made on the ground.
Look at the drawing again. That's very, very nice.
Yeah, he keeps talking.
Okay. That's good. I like the things you are saying. Your language is very lovely. And Reggie just spends some time just kind of like nodding and just letting him speak, but not getting any of it.
Okay. What you do get is when he points at the flashlight, and then he points at his drawing, he points back at the flashlight. He's saying something.
The flashlight? I'll grab the flashlight and compare it to the drawing.
They look nothing alike, but the elder seems excited when you move the 2 of them close together.
Oh, you like that? Anyway, and I'll move it farther away, and then I'll move it back.
He's actually watching the beam move across the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, light. Flashlight. Eh?
One thing you do realize, you're looking around and you realize you see no evidence of a fire or a cooking pit, or it looks like these guys don't even know what fire is. Because if this was their den, and you would, if they knew what fire was, there would probably be a hearth of some kind here, or a pit or something. You just realize there's no sign of any fire usage.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. And Reggie will dig into his pack and get some flint and steel out. That's it, right? Flint and steel? That's how that works.
You actually have fire pellets.
I'll take out some fire pellets that I have and knew I had the whole time. And I'll activate a fire pellet. Look at this. Take a look at this shit. And, I'll rub it between my fingers, and I'll snap my fingers because that's how it works, and then pop. Right?
Okay, well, the way the fire pellets work is you put a drop of water on them, that activates the chemicals inside, and they become very, very hot. But they don't actually burst into flame. They become hot enough to set something aflame.
Ah, perfect. Yes. All right. Is there anything around I could do that with?
Well, there's some of the remains of that dry wooden tuber you were munching on.
Ah, yes. That is what I will use. I'll make a little candle.
All right. When you do this, its big eyes get even bigger. There's a sharp intake of breath, and he taps the others, and they all wake up, and he's pointing at it, and they begin chattering. They're really excited by this. This is amazing to them. You've got a little burning piece of tuber wood in your hand.
Hey, you like that?
He woke up all the others to show them. They're all talking very excitedly.
I'll try to hand it to one of them, to the chief maybe. Just here you go, take it.
Oh, this won't end badly.
Fine.
The chief is really kind of unsure, but after a while, he reaches out, he touches it, and then pulls back. When he realizes it didn't harm him, he reaches out and he touches it again. He doesn't touch the fire, and then he tries to take it from you.
Okay, here you go. See, now be careful. Be careful. Over, hot.
I don't mind, but go. And then the others begin talking among themselves. And he points at the drawing on the ground, and they look at it, and then they clap him on the back like he's made a good decision of some kind.
Oh boy. I might show him, like, I'll go up and I'll put my finger over the flame and just be like, ow, yeah, ow, hot. Just to warn them, so they don't think it's like an attack.
The chief puts his finger on the flame and then he pulls it away immediately.
Yeah, you got it, right. Hot. It's okay, it's fine. It's okay. Very calming hand motions. That's just the nature of it. It's fine.
1 minute. More cats. Cat Central Station here. I have my window open, and I guess the other windows are all shut. But my room is their only way into the house. Okay, so they all sort of clustered together in the back end of the room. They're talking among themselves. The chief is saying something, and he's gesturing with the hand that he burned. And Nash, this wakes you up. You hear the conversation, and you stir a little bit. You look across the room. You see that they're holding this burning tuber and chattering excitedly among themselves. And they also keep pointing at this drawing on the ground. So now that you see the drawing on the ground, you can try a brains roll.
All right.
Check that one out, Nash. That's a pretty nice drawing you made.
I got a 6 again.
Damn. Love it.
Fuck that dice tray. The dice tower is where it's at.
Nash, you realize like immediately that what he's drawn there is Iranian orchids. It's a very bad drawing, but it looks like he's drawn 3 of them.
So he he kind of like rolls over onto his elbow, and like the drawing happens to be like right near where he is, and he's like, he looks at Reggie, like looks at the thing, looks at Reggie. He's like, I think this is an orchid.
Is it?
I think so.
That's the beauty of art. It's all open to everyone's interpretation.
So he looks over at the chief with the burning thing, and he's like, what are you? He's gonna fucking burn himself.
No, I already showed him that it's hot and it can burn.
They're passing it around, and the chief keeps like making gestures with his hand, like not coming, like kind of coming close to it, but not too close. Yeah, like he's warning the others.
Yeah, I started that.
They're fascinated by this. They don't look so frightened that you don't get the idea they've never seen fire, but they don't know how to make it themselves.
Yeah.
I think that we can introduce them to the concept of fire, and then they can like do it themselves. Can you imagine helping this species advance in such a way?
The prime directive.
Yeah.
I suppose. I don't.
We've got a heck of a lot to trade. Knowledge, information, all kinds of things. Food.
But here's it. Like, we might.
We may remember how many fire pellets you guys grabbed.
Oh, I think I have it written down somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think I had too many to begin with, anyway.
Well, so I just
back at the trading post, there were 200 of them.
Well, it clearly didn't take that many. I think we took like a handful, maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll make a big roll here. 12, 17, 19, 21. You have 24 of them.
All right. Well, we used one the other day, and then that's another one, so we're down to 22 at least.
22 fire pellets.
So Nash says to Reggie, he's like, we might have fucked this up already, right? Like they try, like you don't feed wild animals, right? Like because then they get habituated to people. No, listen, I'm not calling them that. I'm not saying that they're animals.
Okay.
All right, look, what I'm saying is if they trust the next group of day trippers to come in here and they're assholes, then it could get them killed, right? I mean, we don't have any way to communicate that we're not assholes. And the other people, maybe. I mean, if we get the orchids, we get the fuck out of here. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I mean...
Look, I don't think that having a positive experience with new people is a bad thing, regardless of what it might lead to. This is a positive experience between two species. If they happen to encounter assholes in the future, I mean, we can't really... Are we going to shy away from having these positive experiences with these new species on all these places that we go to, just because the next set of day trippers that come through may be assholes?
I mean, I guess you're right. You're right.
So right now the humans are talking among themselves at one end of the den, and the UFA are talking among themselves at the other end of the den.
And he's like, "Did you talk to Duke and Tom this morning?"
No.
Ah, fuck. So he like hits the radio.
Also, wait 1 second. I want to point out to you, as part of a directive here, that 5 of these creatures, of these things, are missing. That were here before. They are not here now.
Ah, fuck. So he kind of like looks around. He's like, well,
didn't seem to be a problem. I tried to ask, and all he really did was point to his work of art, and that was it.
Well, maybe they went to go get the orchids then.
Oh, that would make sense.
This is the picture, right?
I mean, you could say so. I don't see it, but maybe you do, and that's valid, and that's fine.
So he doesn't even say anything. He just hits the radio, and he's like, "Duke, Tom,
Reggie
you
just
guys
stares down at the drawing, trying to see what Nash sees. I can't.
Tom gets on the radio. He's like, "Hey, Nash, everything's cool here. We had a little bit of a thing with these roots, these snaky roots that grow up out of the ground. One of them, well, not one of them, many of them sort of grew up around me and had me pinned to the ground, but no harm done. Duke cut me out of it. You got to be careful where you sleep out here. We were scouting around the area, though. You'll never believe this. We found 4 more orchids.
Whoa! Oh, shit. Nice job. All right. And nothing else, everything else is okay?
Everything else is good. Yeah. These roots sort of grabbed me, pulled me to the ground. They damaged the servo on my right arm a little bit, but I let the suit run its mechanical repairs, and it seems like everything's fine. You just got to be careful where you lay down. Stay away from the trees. Yeah.
Next time we hole up, we'll have to find something a little, maybe a little bit more rocky.
How you guys doing out there?
Okay. I think the chief sent out a couple of his people to go find us some more orchids. So we're
the sun is coming up now, by the way.
Yeah, we're just waiting for them to return. So I was hoping they were going to show us where they were, but if they bring them back, it's easier for us.
How long should we wait?
Like he looks over to where the chief is chattering at his little group, and he holds up his hands, even though Tom can't see. He's like, I don't know. They left before I woke this morning, so hopefully they'll be back soon.
All right. Any further orders?
Just keep your eyes peeled. Don't stray too far. We'll be out as soon as they come back, I guess.
Roger that. Let me know if anything happens.
All right. So then he says to Reggie, like, how fucking long do you want to wait?
Well, as long as it takes, I guess. I mean,
what about how long will you wait if nothing like particular happens. I mean, there's going to be talking and gesturing, and they'll probably share some more of their tubers with you.
Probably at some point, if we're thinking that it's taking too long, start pointing down at the drawing in the sand again. Just hey.
Yeah, point at the drawing, point at ourselves.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so the elder comes over and he begins chattering at you. And he points at the drawing. He's nodding his head, and then he makes that circle around his fist. But this time, he only goes halfway around.
So Nash looks at Reggie and says, "Maybe this is like a." So he's telling us time. So like they left last night and they're halfway there. So
they must be halfway there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're doing it. We're communicating.
The sun is now up. You hear the sounds of the day creatures of the jungle starting to move around, and you see light streaming in through some of the holes in the ceiling.
So maybe, we're probably not going to see them until tonight.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So how about this? So Nash holds up his hand, and then he does like a half circle, and he points to himself, and then he makes like the walkie motion, trying to indicate like, what if we go? Like points at the orchid, points at himself, does the little half thing, points at the chief, and then like walkie, can we go get them?
The chief says something to you that sounds kind of stern. It's a negative response, maybe a warning. You feel like if he was human, he would be shaking his head.
Yeah.
There's something that you just said doesn't really please him.
So then he says to Reggie, he's like, maybe these are special to them somehow. Like they had them in their food box, right? Like
they're all giving it to us. I mean, maybe he's trying to protect us from the dangers.
Well, maybe he just doesn't want us to go and like raid all of their orchids.
The sacred.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
What if it's like a medicine or something?
Yeah.
Maybe they use this for other things.
And we're getting it for the all important purpose of the desire of a spoiled brat.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Nothing like seeing the big picture, Reg.
Yeah, I love the big picture. When they go, wait, who said that? I think I'm feeling like this should be the last Psilocybasian mission we do, because this is despicable.
Well,
just a couple hours ago, you were excited about bringing in the secret of fire.
Yes, but of course, now it seems as though we are taking something sacred to these people and giving it to someone who will turn it into trash.
Well, I mean, we can't know that for sure. I mean, clearly she wants it just because she wants it.
Whatever she does with it, it's going
decorate
to
her
be
ballroom
trash.
with it and throw a gigantic party.
Yeah. Trash. Because you know damn well that the next time she wants a party, she's going to want some other bloody orchid from some other bloody planet, which is probably the crazy, healing medicine poultice reactant of another species.
Hey, look, I'm okay with going back when they come back. I mean, they found another 4. We've got 19. If they bring us another 3, it's 21. That's a pretty decent haul, right?
Yeah, we can just tell there's
4 right now because the guys back at camp found 4 more.
They found 4 more.
Oh, 24. Okay.
Well, let's find out. How did they find them? Where were they?
They were wandering around down there. They said they stumbled across a bunch.
They're probably okay out there still, right? We don't want to pull them in here, right? It's probably best to have somebody outside.
Yeah,
Okay.
They said everything's okay,
right.
so.
Well, if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. And, it's worth waiting for if it's going to bring us closer to this being over.
So you're going to spend all day with these people?
Yeah, again, Nash would suggest, sharing some more meat with them.
Oh, definitely. In fact, why don't we cook some of it and see what they think of that? Huh?
Well, we already cooked it, Reg.
Well, we could okay, yeah.
You don't want to overcook it.
Yeah, I'm imagining that you cooked it before you packed it up.
Yeah, I didn't.
So
I didn't consider that. Yeah,
it would keep longer.
No, that makes sense.
Although, I mean, just one day back, there's probably still plenty of meat if it hasn't been covered by flies.
Yeah, I assume it's probably fairly putrid between the heat and the flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem like he's gonna let us go anyway.
Well, I mean,
not that he could stop us, but we're trying to foster peaceful relations, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they just kind of hang out.
Mm.
I mean, if it's really compact, I guess at some point, Nash would point up into himself and make walkie motion, and then stretch his arms out like I want to stretch.
Oh, you're gonna have to take a leak at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if the suit recycled all that shit or not.
You know what? It probably does. Now that I think about it, absolutely.
I assume so.
Yeah. So you can urinate in your suit and it'll recycle it and void what it can't use.
That's my favorite part of the suit.
That's not a surprise.
Okay, so you guys hang out with these guys all day, and there's a whole lot of drawing of little images on the ground with sticks and words exchanged. And let me see if there's an encounter during the day. All right, many hours go by, and you've actually picked up a whole bunch of words from their language.
Oh, yes.
So you now know the names of the tubers, and you know the names of the spikes that they use as weapons. You know the word for box. You know the word for trade, which turns out to be auf.
Ooh. Auf.
And the names of they draw little creatures. So you know that what you guys know as a web serpent, they call a bingara. So you're actually starting to learn the Ufa language, and perhaps even better, they begin to pick up a few words of English.
Nice.
By late afternoon, you guys are talking in this sort of pidgin language, using drawings to help explain yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you through gestures and drawings that this place, this den, is one of 5 different dens. They indicate with little marks on the ground like they're drawing a map. And they point at all 5 and then gesture at the den around them. You eventually get the picture that they're nomadic and they move from place to place. And they have 4 other places that belong to this tribe.
Okay. Nash would then try to get from them, are there other tribes kind of in the area, or they're the only ones?
There are many other tribes all over he says all over the world.
Right.
But really, there's only one continent at the south end of this world.
Sure.
And are you going to tell them that you come from a different world?
Oh, I mean, do they seem interested in that? Are they gesturing to
He seemed very interested. He's made all sorts of drawings that some of which you can understand and others of which you can't. They're teaching you words and pointing at things and seem genuinely interested in trading words so you can learn each other's language.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
they often use the word auf, they enjoy. They're called the aufa, which you realize must mean the traders.
Ooh,
right.
Because the word
Who did
auf
they
means
betray?
the word auf means you give me something, I give you something.
Right.
Oh, traders. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nash would try to explain like he would try to draw a map of our like home solar system, and then like maybe put the flashlight where the sun would be, and then like point to the earth, and then like us, and then like feet on the ground. Like you would point and then like pat it, and then like do that like circling motion.
They seem very, very excited by this, but they keep pointing at you and pointing at the flashlight and pointing at Reggie and pointing at the flashlight. You're not sure they understand. They think it seems like maybe they think you're saying that you came from the flashlight. They love the flashlight. They keep trying to like they take it out of the hole in the ground and pass it around, and when they see you looking at them, they put it back in the hole quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't spend like hours trying to explain like we're from a different part of the multiverse or whatever, but like he would try to like at least sketch it out a little bit. If they didn't get it, they didn't get it, I guess. So, like he gave it to college to try.
Yeah.
Nash, a call comes over your radio. It's Tom.
Oh boy.
Gosh, Tom.
Yeah, Nash, we're going to respond. I think it's those kids. We just heard a call for help. Permission to go examine?
God damn it.
Oh boy.
I mean, go out, see what's going on. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. You hear Tom shouting some orders at Duke to pack up and head out. Okay, we're going to hurry. They don't sound too far away, and it sounds like they're in trouble. I'll let you know as soon as we find out.
All right, let me know as soon as you get eyes on it.
Okay, and a small break for more coffee. Right back.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, this sounds good.
Well, I don't want to risk those guys for those kids, but...
Me neither.
I mean, I guess if we can help...
And I've got a soft spot for those kids, and I don't think it's worth it.
All right. Well, hopefully the those 5 will come back soon, and then we can get the hell out of here.
Yeah, the sooner the better.
And we've got enough. We can leave the rest of the meat with them.
Oh yeah, I feel if we have to wait, and
I'm back.
If we have to wait, at least it's for the purpose that we came here for, and we don't have to risk being on this. We won't have to risk any further time spent here.
Yeah. Fuck. Now, Nash starts getting antsy now. Like, shit is happening. He kind of feels like he's stuck here. His guys are out. Not that they're not capable, but he's not, he's not there. So he doesn't like it. So he's getting fidgety.
Do you want to go?
I don't know. I mean, let's wait and see. Let's see what they say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
I mean, they had a bunch of knives. I mean, they could be being attacked by freaking monkeys right now. Like, what are they gonna do?
Right.
Okay, so you guys are without word for a little over half an hour. Then you get your radio signal back from Tom. He's like, it's not real good news, Nash. That boy Winford, he's dead.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
You hear Annelle sobbing in the background, talking about how it's all her fault. She was supposed to keep him safe. You can't hear all that. She's blubbering to herself. And he's like, we've taken her back to our camp. Some sort of flying reptile. It wasn't a web serpent. Two-legged thing. Looked like a snake with legs and arms. There were several of them. They apparently came out of the trees and attacked these kids. poor suckers didn't have a chance. We were lucky to get there in time to save the girl, but the kid was already a goner.
Jesus Christ.
They picked him up in the air and dropped him to the ground from like 100 feet.
Oh, that's no way to go.
Well, all right. We should just keep her safe, I guess. Get her the hell out of here.
Can you give her some? Give her a little something. Make sure she's calm. I don't want her doing anything stupid.
You mean a little non-regulation something? Because I happen to have my flask with me.
Nice.
You know Tom, he's a fucking alcoholic.
Oh, boy. Do you have any Zoom?
Are you crazy? I don't touch that shit.
Right, who would do that?
Nash gives you the dirtiest look.
It worked before. Never mind.
Worked?
I worked. It served a purpose, and it served its purpose, and now I regret it. But we got out of there. You know what? We don't need to rehash all of this again.
He just shakes his head.
I'm sorry I brought it up. Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep her as comfortable as I can. We're just gonna sit tight. Nothing seems to be going on out here. What about you guys?
Give me 1 second. So he looks over to the chief. He points at the orchid picture again. He holds up his hand and then does like the halfway and then kind of like shrugs.
The chief draws like a little less than 1/4 of a circle.
All right, so he goes back to Tom and Duke and says, they should be here within an hour or two, maybe.
Yeah, just a few more hours, maybe.
If you can just keep her secure, make sure nothing sneaks up on you, stay under cover. As soon as they get back, we'll get out of here.
Roger. Stay in touch.
Like, turns the radio off and he says to Reggie, he's like, we're going to have to fucking take her back to her ship now. Like, I had planned on going right back to our ship.
Well, can we just go back to our ship and then take her to her ship in our ship?
Well, we don't have space for a 5th human.
Could we just, shove her in a cargo hold?
Well, so if we stay in planetary orbit or atmospheric orbit, can she just, stand behind someone? And then could we, drop her off?
You could. It's actually possible to make a jump without being strapped into a jump bed. The problem is that if it's a dodgy flight, you can get hurled around the cabin.
Yeah. But no, he's just thinking if we go back to our ship, we can. Does the current ship that we have atmospheric flying? Because then we could just hover over to where she is, and then just
it does. Yeah, it does.
And then we could hover down as close as possible, and she can either just hop out the back, or we get a rope and just lower her down. Because clearly they're not going to want to leave their ship here. Unless she can't fly it. I don't know who's the pilot.
Yeah, it does in fact have
I hope he wasn't the pilot.
Aerodynamic capability.
Whoa!
There's your ship.
There it is.
So he jumps back on the radio and he's like, Tom, ask her if she can fly that ship that they brought.
You hear some blubbered conversation in the background. It's hard to tell what's being said. Tom gets back on and he says, I don't know exactly what she told you, but I kind of feel like I'm getting a different story now. She says they were supposed to meet that guy, Mark Forepaw, on top of the mountain.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
I kind of get the feeling they were working together with him.
Well, I mean, I guess that's neither here nor there. We don't have any way to fucking get a hold of him, though.
Maybe he'll find us.
That mountain is a good days away, maybe more like 2 days away.
Yeah. See if she can get a hold of him. I mean, they should have been on their way back. So maybe they're within radio distance.
These idiots don't have radios.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Fucking amateurs.
All right, I'm getting the story from the girl here. They were sent off to the east. Forepaw was going to the west. They were supposed to meet up again tomorrow afternoon on top of that mountain.
All right. I mean, fuck. I don't know that we have enough time to get her back up to that mountain.
I mean,
And that's their ride home.
And she's from Home Earth?
She is.
Well, I mean, she can always come back with us. I don't think there's any way we make it up to that mountain before Forepaws is going to leave. I mean, if he sent those two kids out in the jungle with nothing but a bunch of pig stickers, then I don't suspect he's going to wait for them.
What if we bring it back?
I can't say one way or the other, but if we're supposed to make it to the mountain by tomorrow afternoon, we would have to hoof it and take off right now. I'm still not even sure we could cover that distance.
Yeah, well, they don't. She doesn't have a suit.
Nope.
Yeah, she's gonna do nothing but slow us down in this jungle.
Well, we'll have to bring her back then. We got to bring her back to our place, to our ship. She could stay inside the tent there, the abandoned facility or whatever it was, and then
the trading post.
She may have to just wait until we can come back and get her to her ship when we made some room in ours.
Whoa. The only way we come back here is if we're getting paid to come back here.
So a true mercenary.
So is she just out of luck?
Well, I mean, we don't have a bed for her. And
what if
she might get banged around the cabin? I mean, we could leave her and just send word that, somebody needs a pickup.
I mean, maybe her university or wherever she's learning to do this, maybe they should be the ones who sort of help her out. We can at least get her somewhere safe. And then when we get back, we send word to them that their people have been abandoned. Or she has no way of getting to her ship.
Are you still on the radio?
I think...
Meaning, is Tom in this conversation, or is it just you two?
I guess Tom's probably still in it, in case he has anything else to
she
throw.
Might have something to offer too.
Yeah.
Well, I just heard you mention someplace safe for her to stay. It sounds like you guys found someplace safe to stay.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Although this is pretty deep.
And they're traders, and she has nothing to trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just spitballing here, boss.
Yeah. We're 11 days in, and fuck. I don't know who's going to want to truck all the way in here to come back and get her. I mean,
we're actually 12 days in now.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be slow going, but we could take her back with us, and she can either, if I can rig up some. Fuck, there's no helium for the goddamn generator. Son of a bitch. That cabin's got no power once we leave.
This is true.
I mean, if we have an easy ride back, she'll be okay. we take a turn for the worst, and
she's going for a ride.
Well, again,
It all
choices
comes
were
down to
made.
Reggie and his piloting role.
Yeah, and if I remember, it wasn't too easy getting here, so that's not a guarantee.
I think it was. It was easier
Was it?
than getting to a dream world. Because remember, you guys are still in free space. You're in
Yeah.
our universe.
All right, well, maybe it was. Maybe, yeah. I mean, if it was an easy thing, Reggie would probably feel like he could handle it. I don't think it was all that bad. I mean, she could just kind of like hang on, or maybe, or maybe someone else can hang on and she can be given a seat. I don't know.
Fuck, what a pain in the ass.
I would give up mine, except that I'll have to floor the plane.
Tom is whispering now. I think she just passed out.
Oh, well, maybe she'll just... Oh, from exhaustion. Okay, never mind.
Well, no, I've been giving her whiskey.
Oh. Oh.
It calmed her down.
I mean, yeah.
We had to listen to her crying for like an hour.
Well, at least you won't do anything stupid. Or more stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, she's made some mistakes.
Any change in orders, Captain?
No, fuck. We're just going to wait for these guys to come back. We're going to grab the orchids that we have. And then I think we're going to start hoofing it back to our ship. I don't see that there's any way we make that mountain peak before they're ready to get out of here. They have no radios. We have no way to contact them. We don't know if they would wait. I don't want to be going 3 days out of the way on a whim. I mean, we can get her back.
It's a little risky, but you know, Reg didn't seem to have much trouble getting us here.
Yeah, he
right.
seems pretty confident.
We'll just sit tight and wait for further word.
All right. And he cuts the radio, and then he says to Reggie, he's like, I don't know. I mean, do you think we could leave her here?
By the way, they're all talking to themselves and watching you because you keep touching your headset mic and you're talking to someone who's not there.
Right.
Well, I think you're right. I don't think it's a good idea to leave her here, because how would we...
Yeah, who would come and get her?
Right, like anybody who's running her program? But either way, I mean, she'll need to be someplace that's easy to get to. That's why I thought it would be a good idea to bring her back to our the trading post, and that's at least easily markable.
Yeah, the problem is we can't leave her there.
Yeah, no, it's fine, Reggie. You would know this. It's possible for you to set new coordinates for like right here, so that you could make a jump back to this spot. The problem is there's really no place level and clear enough to land the ship here.
Well, that's another reason why I think it's not wise to just leave her with these people.
You'd have to maybe a better idea if you were to do that would be to head into the hills where you can find some flat area.
Right, like maybe okay. Find a place nearby that I can't land.
Yeah, like sort of half a day to the northwest, make it to the foothills. You might be able to find a place you could jump to.
Well, there's options anyway. I'm not 100% certain which one's the best one. I don't even know if there's a good one. But I think the definitely the bad one would be to just say, hey, screw it, and leave her here.
Well, fuck.
I mean, I'm willing to chance it to get her out of here. She's been through enough. She's clearly blaming herself for everything that happened. So I think it's kind of just, I know it fell into our lap, but I think it's something that we should try really hard to fix, to take care of.
When you say she blames herself for everything, like Nash, like winces a little bit.
Ooh, you know how that feels.
But he doesn't say anything. He's like, well, I mean, we could leave her here and then. So when he went out to stretch or whatever, is there an opening near where this is? So what I'm wondering is if we atmospheric fly back, could we hover and then like drop a rope and yank her up so she wouldn't have to make the trek back?
That's a really good idea.
Wow, nice.
I thought you were asking a different question, which, by the way, I will answer, because from down here in the den, you can see 3 other tunnels leading out. There's more than one tunnel leading into this place. So there's that. The other thing that you suggested, though, yeah, Reggie's nodding his head. Yeah, you could do that, Reg. You could estimate a spot like 30 feet up in the air, get the GPS coordinates for that spot, and then program it into the Marduk later.
Oh yeah, no, I can. That sounds good. That sounds like a good remedy.
Right. I mean, it doesn't solve the problem of getting her home. I mean, as long as you give us a good flight, then she'll be okay.
Yeah.
But that at least gets her out of here, and then we can hoof it going back, and then it'll be one less person we got to worry about.
Well, your friends aren't back yet, so you've got a while to talk about this. I don't know if you'll come to a decision. A couple hours passed by. Any other thoughts?
Nash is pretty comfortable with that decision. So we can get her back to home Earth. We don't have to protect her going back through the jungle, and then we can just snatch her up from here.
Okay, so Reg, you can actually do this right now. Then I'll need a slip space dynamics roll here, and you're using your current GPS location, and then you're estimating a Z altitude.
Gotcha. All right.
So slip space dynamics roll B3.
In my slip dynamic, I can use my slip dynamic skill +2.
Yeah, so that's I believe it's a brains roll.
Oh, it's brains? Okay. Oof.
Right, slip dynamics is based on brains, I believe.
Brains, okay. All right. Okay, so that will be...
And you get to add your skill to the highest roll.
Oh, roll a 5, so 7.
Nice.
Let me just think about this for a second. Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's a yes and. So you've come up with this. You've calculated a spot based on your original recon when you were first looking at this tunnel and all that. You're estimating a spot where there's no tree cover, because the last thing you want to do is materialize where a tree is.
Yes, that's not good. All right, I think I've got it. I've got it good. I'm referencing the recon there, right there. That's good. That's where I'll do it.
When you get back to the Marduk, you'll be able to feed these coordinates in.
All right.
There.
Is that
anything else you want to do over the next couple hours? Now we're getting into late afternoon.
So Nash would pull out the topo map and then just like start, planning out, the easiest way to get back. So like, there's no way to trudge back through no reason to trudge through the jungle. So if they like make a beeline to 3 and then skirt through the lighter jungle and maybe across the coast, they could pick up better time than trying to go back the way that they came.
Yeah, it'll take you 2 days to get out to the coastal region, and then from there you can move 2 hexes per day.
Yeah, so I think that would be the
some time few days. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total of 8 days to get back to the trading post.
As opposed to 12.
Yeah.
I mean, he would confer with Reggie. Like, he's got the map all spread out, and, he's calculating and, whatever. He's like, hey, we cut off, like, 4 days if we head to the coast. I mean, we'll be a little bit more exposed, but, I mean, we can skirt the trees.
If you think it's worth it, then I'm on board. Anything to make it a shorter trip, then yes.
You already have enough food to make that trip.
Right. Rations are good. Waters are good. I say let's do it.
All right, I can always try to tune up Duke's suit as well, transfer some of my power over.
There you go.
And we don't have any get caught up with anything.
Yeah. No, we're good. We're looking good.
All right, so he jumps on the radio. He gives the guys the plan. Lets them know, like, hey, when she gets up, you guys start making your way over here. I'm going to try to explain to these guys that we need to leave her here for 8 days. So Nash would. So I guess maybe one of the words that they would have like traded early, as they were kind of going through this whole exchange thing, like Nash would have pointed at himself and then pointed at Reggie and said "friend," and then like shook his hand and then like said "friend" and pointed at each other and then like give him a bro hug and be like friend, and then like exchange, like put out his hand to like shake the chief's hand, like
Bros.
friend,
bromance.
Yeah. They learned the word friend.
Okay, so then he like what's the best
But
way
they
to do it?
pronounce it strangely. They say Fenta.
So he like points up the tunnel and says the word friend and then does like the walkie motion and then holds up like 3 fingers. I'm holding up 3 fingers. And then be like, pat his chest and be like friend, and then, point to the chief and say friend, and then, 3 fingers and walkie motion again.
He imitates your gestures and he looks satisfied. You're not really sure if he understands you, but he's imitating you.
Yeah. So yeah, when she gets up, have them start coming in, and then have them let me know when they're close, and then pantomime like going out, and then friend, and then see if they'll open up the gate.
Wait. Who's supposed to let you know if who's close?
Duke, when she wakes up.
Okay.
Have Duke or Tom, because I want them to start moving towards the tunnel or closer to the tunnel area.
Okay.
I mean, I assume they're relatively close anyway, but like, within visual distance. So when they're there, be like, hey, we're here. And then Nash is going to be like, we want to go outside, friend.
Yeah, you had moved your camp away just far enough to not have visual distance. So
so it's like 2 minutes.
Just a few minutes away, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when she gets up, if she's, passed out.
No problem, Captain. I'll contact you as soon as she wakes up. Although she seems to be sleeping pretty deeply, she might stay out through the night.
Oh, well, that's not great for us. I'm gonna have to wake her up then.
Well, it was late afternoon when I got her loaded.
Well, shit. We don't want her waking up underground.
And now the sun is almost going down.
All right, so Nash points at the orchid again, holds his fist up, and does like a fraction of a movement, and then like, eh.
Yeah, the chief says, yes, soon.
It's adorable. It's adorable.
He's learned a few English words.
Yeah.
So he radios to them and says, "All right, they should be back soon. Just be non-threatening, no weapons. I assume if they're not coming through one of these side tunnels, you'll see them when they come back."
All right. A little bit of time goes by, like maybe another hour and a half. You hear loud drumming from above. It seems like the rain has picked up, and there's water dripping through the holes in the ceiling of this place. And they start piling their leaves together higher and sit up on their leaves, sort of away from the holes, because now there's little muddy puddles starting to form in the center of the den. This is not a very civilized lifestyle that they lead.
Mm-hmm.
But just about an hour and a half later, through one of the different tunnels, you hear the returning party, and so the shaman sends a couple people up to remove the spikes from the tunnel, and in come the 5 adults. They have 3 orchids with them. They excitedly come in. They talk among themselves. You catch a couple of words. They use that word "binkara," pointing up at the sky. So it sounds like they saw some web serpents nearby, and they make some gestures with their fingers, kind of twinkling their fingers up and down, and you get the feeling that means rain. And they say the word for rain. So they're telling the chief that the weather has turned bad, but and they did see some web serpents.
Okay, so
but they made it back with the orchids, and the chief takes the orchids from the party. He's looking at you like he's proud of his men.
Yeah. So he pulls out some of the meat, holds the bag out for them.
The chief ignores the meat. He walks up to the flashlight, still sticking in the hole in the ground. He puts the orchids down next to the flashlight, and then he takes the flashlight. Oof. Good, yes?
Yeah, Nash just...
Look at that. How do you say no to that?
Head. Yeah, and he says yes. He takes the orchids.
You now have 27 orchids.
Nice.
And the UFA have your infrared flashlight.
So he will, get on the radio and be like, "Hey, just heads up, some of those flying web serpents, the party just came back through one of the tunnels. They said they saw them. Not sure in relation to where we are, but..."
Yeah, he's right. We've got a visual. One just went by overhead a minute ago.
All right, stay under cover if you can.
Roger that.
So now that they came out of the side tunnel, it gets Nash to thinking, where these tunnels may go to, and points to the ones that came back, points to the tunnel, and then holds his hand up, one hand down and then one hand up to indicate mountain, and does walkie motion up to the top.
You're not sure he understands what you're saying.
Yeah. These things probably not going to know what a map is, but he takes out the map and spreads it out on the floor, and then points Reggie, what's our location on here? Because you've got the GPS.
Right. I find Reggie finds whatever the answer is, and he gives the answer. Here is the answer to your question.
Yeah, right, the answer is right where the number, right here, where the number two appears just past the white circle.
Right. So he points at the map, and then says, us, points to himself, points at the map, and says here, and pats the floor, and then points at the mountain where the ship was, and then does walkie motions, and then points at the tunnel.
The chief says a whole bunch of words that you haven't heard him use before.
Yeah.
You still don't know whether he understands what you're saying or not.
Yeah, he looks to Reggie I don't... Any ideas? Can we see the mountain from where we are? I mean, not underground, obviously, but
no, because the tree cover is too dense. That's like 40, 50 miles away.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
What if we just lift the rest of the meat and some of the fire pods and just lift?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I thought if this tunnel maybe went up to the mountain, we could get her there before Forepaws shows up.
If they're not going to show us, though.
No, they're tentatively touching the end of the flashlight from which the light emits. At first, they expect to be burned, but it doesn't burn them. And then they're very excited. They begin passing the flashlight around and pointing it at each other. The children are especially excited. They start circulating the flashlight and pointing it at each other. They think it's hysterical. They're flicking it on and off.
Yeah. So, all right. I mean, I guess we stick with Plan A then. I just,
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that could have potentially saved us some time too, because then,
yeah,
if we could have jumped straight up to where their ship was, well, I don't know. It seems like a pretty far distance, right? 40, 50 miles. You know, if they've got tribes all over, I assume their range is probably fairly small, right?
I mean, I would think so.
Right, I mean, they're competing for resources and whatnot. I guess we just stick with the plan.
I think the plan is a good plan, and I think we should just stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we have a lot of time, and we've lost this whole day, so
yeah, and
we're supposed to meet them tomorrow.
We commit to the plan, and we just execute it.
Yeah. All right. That's probably for the best.
So we're asking Tom and Duke to bring the girl here?
Yeah.
Roger that. We'll rouse her and see you in a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. So then he goes through like the whole friend thing again, like, my, friends, and he points like up the main tunnel and does like walkie motion and says here and like pats the ground.
Your communication skills are excellent.
And then he like he spreads his hand to like open gate, like whatever the term was, because they gave us the term for the spikes. It'd be like, open and then use that term for the spikes.
Okay, he does get it. He doesn't get it when you're talking about friend walking here. But then when you mention the spikes, a look of recognition dawns on him. And he realizes you're talking about someone other than you.
Yeah.
And so they talk to themselves. You've told them the word human, so they're talking about more human here.
Yes.
Oh boy.
They all seem very curious. They're not sure how to respond to that, but it seems like the chief has developed a rapport for you guys, and he trusts you, it seems. So he tells the others, to sit and relax and eat, and more human here.
Okay, so he would.
It's just a few minutes before you hear footsteps approaching outside the tunnel.
All right. So
they pull a couple of the spikes out of the way, and here comes your group. Duke is supporting the girl. She looks really groggy. She's wounded. Not super bad, but she must have fallen and taken some bad scrapes.
Okay. Can I medicine roll, try to patch her up a little bit?
You can.
All right. I will do that, or attempt to do that. I got a 7.
On fire.
Yeah.
So you're treating her wounds. The UFA are fascinated. They're watching everything you do.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he gets out the alcohol and the bandages and the tape and the whole 9 yards. He's like, he's trying to just like talk to her, keep her calm, like, hey, I'm sorry about your friend. We're gonna get you patched up. We got a plan. We're gonna get you out of here. These are the UFA. They're traders. They let us stay here a couple of days. We want. I haven't asked them yet, but we're not going to be able to get you back to Four Paws. We want to leave you here and go grab our ship and then come back and get you.
She starts crying and collapses into a pile on the floor. She's like,
it's
I
okay.
killed Winford. I killed him, and nobody even knows we're here except Mark Fourpaw. What are we gonna do?
No, we've got it handled. It's all right. He's like, patting her back. It's like, you can't blame yourself. He came out on his own.
I was his guide.
Well,
she just falls into tears again.
Like Nash just he's absently rubbing her back now and having bad flashbacks.
Oh man.
Suddenly dawns on her that she's sitting in an UFA den. She stops crying and looks around and she's kind of amazed. She's like, have you established communication with the UFA?
He doesn't respond right away. Now he's just has an arm on her back and he's just kind of off in the middle distance. And then I assume she kind of moves, and then he's like, yeah. They're harmless. We've taught them some English words. We've learned some of their words. We could write them down for you phonetically. Look, we want to leave you here for a couple of days till we go get the ship and then come back and get you.
Get out.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
You want me to stay here with them?
Well, it's either that or you huff 12 days back through the jungle without a suit. Doesn't seem like the best plan.
No. I need to do this. If you've taught them English, that means that we can establish true communication with them. I mean, there have been people who encountered them before, and there's even been some trade. I read about it in the journals, but no one's taught them English.
Well, a couple of words.
This is. We can be famous.
Nash kind of
yeah.
Look, let me introduce you to the chief, who I'm assuming they're kind of off in the corner, what the fuck is going on?
Chief Bumbo.
So he points at himself, he taps his chest, and then, points to her and says, friend, human. I don't, do we even get her name?
Anel.
Mm-hmm. So he says, friend Anel. And then he taps the ground. He says, stay.
The chief smiles. He gestures welcomingly to Anel, and he goes and gets her a blanket.
And then Nash holds up his hand and he does 10 revolutions. He wants to pad it a little bit. It'd be 10 days. And then he taps the ground again and says, stay.
The chief looks in his crate of tubers, and he looks at the bags of meat, and he circles around his hand 5 times.
And
they don't have enough food to feed her for 10 days.
Yeah, Nash holds up a hand, and then he turns around, he goes into his back, and he pulls out his 3 days worth of food, and then he says to Duke and Tom, he's like, "Food, let me have the food."
Is it whom meat you're giving him? Serpent meat or MREs?
The whom. They seem to really enjoy that. So.
Okay, so there were 2 more days left of that, but that's for the whole crew. So if you give them all the whom you have left, that will take care of her for 8 days. And then they seem to have enough for a couple days. So
Okay.
I'm going to say that's enough. If you give them all the who meat you have left.
Yeah, yeah. Because we're looking to
including that which Tom and Duke are carrying.
Yeah, yeah. That's like all the hue meat we have. We're gonna give them.
All right. You established enough of a rapport with the chief, and you know enough of their language, and they know enough of yours, so that you feel they totally understand the deal. They are being given this meat in order to keep her here for 10 days.
Okay, and then we're hoping to be back in 8. You know, if it takes us 8 days to get back, maybe 9, because I mean, if there's no hydrogen, we can't really manipulate anything back at the cabin. So it's like a disconnect, and we're gonna leave unless someone has miraculously dropped shit off while we were gone.
I'm going to say that you know the word for return because you were talking several times about when their guys would return.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can say that, humans return in 10 days.
Right.
We friends return in 10 days. So you managed to get that across to them. And then you pack up your gear. Oh, and Nell asks if you have a recording device with you. She's like, I have to document this. I mean, this is unprecedented. I can do a dissertation on this. This could be a graduate thesis.
He sort of looks down at the body cam and then kind of like looks off to the right, like. I mean, I assume all of our. I mean, so how does the camera work? Is it record everything? Is it something we have to turn on and off?
Well, I think there was some sort of bonus involved. Maybe you got a yes and or something, but I think I remember saying that it was AI and it automatically turned itself on when it sensed movement or something that needed.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Because I'm assuming that we would have recorded our time in the thing. Because it did seem important. I mean, he's not trying to get famous, but it is.
Yeah, you probably did record it.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, to have a visual record if anything went south.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not like we would have an extra. He looks at Reggie and motions him over, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Yes.
You want to give her Tom's body? I don't want to give her Tom's body cam, but I mean, do we try to salvage something out of this for her? Like,
I'm just going to interject here. If you give her one of your body cams, she'll have access to the video you already made, which will give her a leg up on learning the language.
Yeah.
But do we want her to have all of that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want her to have any information that we may.
That's true. It recorded everything you said to each other as well.
Yeah. He's like, you have a notebook? Like, Nash will take a notebook out if she doesn't have like a pen and a pad. I mean,
yeah, she does have that, but she wanted to be able to video document this. Like he
reaches into his pocket and pulls out his PDA, and
nobody really writes things down anymore. They just speak to their AI.
Yeah, well, he pulls out his PDA, and he's like, "Don't you have your PDA on you?"
She holds up her busted, smashed PDA.
Oh,
fell on it.
Fuck's sake!
It doesn't look right.
Come on, this is historical. I'll give you credit. You can share credit with me. Look, this is enough to make the talk show circuit.
He's just
no.
Yeah, no, I don't want any of that. How easy is it to remove. Fuck. Do we have like personal PDAs? We have like work PDA. Like, I'm just wondering if he could like wipe his PDA and just give it to her, and then just go get another one.
Yeah.
I mean, she would have his node number, which is not optimal.
True, not optimal. Your data is not. Well, if you wish to store data in the device, you can, but typically data is stored in the cloud, which you access via password in your account. So the data is your data, your personal data, isn't even accessible from here. It's in the cloud back on Earth.
Yeah. Well, fuck. Like,
personal notes, personal phone numbers, anything you recorded while in the field, that would be here.
Yeah, yeah. Which would be nothing at this point. I mean, we're in the jungle.
Right.
And your PDA isn't even that old because you busted the old one and Bento gave you a new one.
Yeah, yeah. Could he like password protect like contacts and that sort of stuff?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So he like locks, half of his phone and then, gives her the PDA and says, look, you can use this for now. We can transfer the data when we get back on the ship. Don't break this one, and I'm going to need it back.
I will not break it, and you will not be sorry. Thank you, Jack Nash. You will go down in history.
Easy with that stuff.
History.
And so you guys pack up, get ready to go. Duke and Tom wave hello and goodbye to the UFA people. And one more time, the chief makes the circle around his hand 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Friend returned.
Yes. Friend returned. 10 days. And he does, 10
circles around the fist.
He gives you 2 blankets to take with you.
Nash, so I don't want to not take them because I don't want to offend them, but I'd also don't want to like take their shit. Yeah, I guess he would take them. He doesn't want to offend them, so he like gets down low because they're shorter and like puts his hands out and says, I guess we probably taught him thank you, because like we stayed there and whatever. So he says thank you. Pats his chest and says friend and like, extends his hand to like shake his friend.
Yeah.
He's his friend and he's learned how to shake hands. So he shakes all 4 of your hands. Ooh. Once again, makes the signal for 10 days. Mm-hmm. And you guys tread off into the jungle. Now, you're going to be heading south. Let's call it south, right?
Yeah.
Toward the coast, yeah?
I think so. I mean, I don't know that we have to go like directly like 2 hexes straight down, like all the way to the coast, or if we could sort of skirt, sort of this 2 light green hexes and then cut the coast there. You know what I'm saying?
You kind of go
because we're in
2, 3, 4. That's like 4.75 or something like that.
Yeah.
It will be 1 day in the dense jungle though, and then another day in the light jungle.
So could we go
a little bit over there?
Could we go straight down to light jungle? So go light jungle, coast?
Yeah, which means almost 1 day in the dense jungle and then 2 in the light jungle.
Yeah.
All right. So you head off south. It is, let me see. Oh, it's nighttime. Are you going to leave at night?
Oh, yeah, usually we've been holding up at night.
Yeah.
So we sleep here one more night?
I guess so, yeah. So giant retcon, we do all that stuff tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Okay, so you all bed down on the morning of day 13. Well, it's not that much retcon. You can just tell them that tomorrow, when the sun comes up, you leave for 10 days.
Okay.
Okay, and on day 13, you take off. You say goodbye to Anel. Remind the chief you'll be back in 10 days. And off you go into the jungles of Inra. And the rain is fucking horrible.
No.
And that's where we're going to break the limit.
All right.
It's rain.
Trudge off through the pouring rain into the dense jungles of Inra.
Sounds good.
It's probably going to be fine.
There's like a little wiper blade on the front of the.
Everything's going to work out.
There you go, guys. That's another adventure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 experience points each. You tied that time.
Nice. And I'm going to write it right on my sheet so I know what I have.
Good idea.
Sweet. Yeah, that was not what I expected for the game tonight. I thought that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
Contact with alien races.
We are teaching them
Rudimentary pigeon English.
So I feel like it's a little bit of redemption for Nash, right? So like giving his own druthers instead of like murdering everybody, like try to.
Right. Yeah. You're figuring it out. You're getting better.
Yeah, no, definitely cool.
Love it. Thank you very much, Todd, for running.
Thank you very much for playing. You guys, this is really cool. I actually didn't expect that to happen either. Once you met these guys, it turned into a whole thing.
So was that a random thing that they were there, or?
Yeah, it was Ufa Den was the random encounter that I rolled.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. Well, I mean, I think I felt like the setup was not that you pushed us that way, but I felt like by their actions, being somewhat quizzical or whatever, that facilitated all that stuff. Where if they would have been like,
yeah. Well, like Anel said, they have been encountered before. They have traded orchids with humans before. Maybe not this group,
right?
But she said she read in the journals that they have been encountered and they have successfully traded with humans. What no one's done before is actually taught them English words or learned to communicate with them.
Right. But and that's probably why, like, when Nash was like, "Oh, show us where the things are," they were like, "No, fuck you," because that's how we trade our stuff.
Yeah.
You would probably ponder on that, on the wet, long
walk. Now they've got a multi-mode flashlight and a whole bunch of home meat.
Yeah, it was like a level of sophistication, It was like, well, no, not sophistication, but intelligence. To be like, nah, we're not going to show you where our stash is, bro.
Fuck you,
we'll get it for you.
Yeah.
Wait here, sit tight.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can't survive much as a trader if you give away your sources.
Yeah, because we would have fucking ripped everything out of the ground.
Oh yeah. Let's just start pulling shit out of the ground.
All right, you guys. Well, that's it for another session of DayTrippers.
Nice. Sweet.
Thank you for playing.
Yep. Thank you for running.
See you all next time. And one more plug. Anybody out there, you saw the map, you saw us use it. It's dynamic, and you upload your own map picture at fictioneers.net. All you got to do is make an account. It's totally free, no advertising. Go do it.
Ooh, nice.
Do the things.
Do all the things.
I'm going to do that.
All right, you guys. I'm out of here.
All right.
Good night.
See you later, Todd. Thank you. And also, if you enjoy this game, as well as heading over to fictioneers.net, you can go to DayTrippersRPG.com. You could pick up your own copy of DayTrippers. There's GM's Guide, Adventures, the Player's Book, all that stuff. You can also find it on Drive-Thru-RPG. Of course, we have coffee for sale always. Neil just tweaked the blend a little bit. It's not as bitter on the backside. It's a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter, maybe a tad bit more acidity. It's pretty good. I just got 2 bags in yesterday, which is great because I completely ran out because, like an idiot, I fucking wait until the last minute to order shit. So mea culpa on me. But likes and reviews, that stuff is fantastic all the time. Check out John's podcast, Tales of Blood and Stone. There is a link in the show notes, but go to Twitter and follow, is it Bonsai Bopper?
Bonsai Lopper.
Bonsai Lopper. See, I always get it wrong. But check them out.
But Bonsai Bopper might have to be a new one.
So check that out as well. We appreciate you checking this out, and we'll catch you next time.